Yeah, I know the song.
Libya.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can you sing more?
Sure.
Yeah. What else? Yeah.
I'll take requests.
More military songs. Go ahead, Stoney.
Military requests? There's a
All right.
What's that
Comet.
from? Do you know what that's from?
Bridge over River Kwai.
Bam!
Right.
Oh, man.
We used to sing this song when I was a kid. Comet. I forget it. I'm not going to
I've
go.
actually been to the real bridge over the River Kwai.
Really?
I actually went. Looks nothing like it did in the movie.
Okay.
Absolutely.
No?
Anchors away.
Yeah, keep going.
That's all he knows.
Anchors away.
I'm waiting for him to go from
Na,
do a song from Stripes. Do I? Did he?
Oh, what's that? How about when the caissons come rolling along?
Well, there's that's another one.
Yes. All right. What do you guys got going today?
I want to start with something that's highly underrated and highly underrated annoying and highly underrated great.
You know what's highly underrated and annoying? When you have to restart your computer after 4
We always hit
hours.
delay, so it happens during Valenti's show, and watch him handle it.
Okay.
That's usually what we do to you guys.
True pro.
That's what we do to you. 97 won the ticket.
Here's the thing about Gibbs is he needs to touch the ball more. We need to get more production out of him. He's a first-round pick, number 12 overall, and right now he's got 23 touches. That in 2 games.
Didn't Bijan have around?
Classic Stoney. Just cleaning up the workspace, and he grabbed Gator's live reads and walked out. So Gator has to go fetch the live reads. Now he's shaking his head and walking back. Stoney disrupting our show. Gator shaking his head, coming back in studio. What happened? Huh? He threw him away? He threw him. I hope your people are on Twitch. You can see Stoney is having to go through the recycle bin.
At least they're in the recycle bin.
To
not
get-
the trash, but
To get Gators.
I don't know, 5 or 6, 7, something like that.
Oh, we got the mattress live read. This is going to take a minute, isn't it? This is so great. If you haven't watched on Twitch or YouTube, now's a great time to get on to watch Stoney sift through the
Sure,
builders
here you
first.
go.
Yeah, he's
Come
got
on.
his builders first.
You got my-
Duck, go. Yeah, he's got them all. Stoney.
Wait, I think you had one in your hand there. It's my Coppercraft, but
It's so great.
it's the yeah.
Hilarious.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, here it is. Yeah.
Go to twitch.tv, search up 9 someone a ticket, or YouTube, search up 9 someone a ticket.
No, but I need the back of it because it's got my notes on it.
Kang is dying laughing behind the glass.
I think there might be more, Stoney.
There's another one. Evans coming in. What did you recover there?
I had printed something.
Yeah. This is great. This is a confluence of two worlds. And Gators live reads and Stoney threw them away. Thank you, Ben, for the zoom out. Awesome. Everybody's watching this.
Hi, Twitch. Hi, YouTube.
Yeah, Stoney. Lions tickets. Oh, yeah, we got Lions tickets to give away. Thank you for reminding me, Stoney. How we're going to do is a Carson Anderson quiz question, and it'll be something easy on the show. Like, what did Stoney do to disrupt our show at the beginning? He threw away Gators live reads would be the correct answer.
That might be it, Stoney. I'll live with this. I can figure it out. I think. What's that? Yeah. No,
You got them. You got them all. How many?
Iron golf.
Five iron golf.
Yeah, here you go.
Good God.
Urban Meyer does the one thing that makes for doing dumb things.
Urban Meyer? No, you don't have an Urban Meyer.
I don't have an
live
Urban
read.
Meyer sheet. No.
Oh, all right.
Here we go. All right. I think we're good.
You
You
got 'em all.
sure? What about your notes?
I got my Lions notes there.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah. The other notes are online here.
Because you took the time to take the notes. I don't want those just to be.
No, I appreciate that, King. Yes, yes. That's why I said I'd like those back. Thank you.
I did that work.
I mean, yeah.
So did you ever go to your teacher and go,
everyone.
Thank you,
Stoney,
Michael.
where's your homework? Well, Stoney threw it away.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what just happened.
Stoney ate my homework.
Where's yours, Brad? My dog ate it. Where's yours, Susie? I don't know. Where's yours, Gator? Stoney.
Stoney threw it away.
Got it. That's all you got to say.
All right, so there you go. Quite a start to the show.
All right.
How are you today?
I'm okay.
Something underrated awesome happened. I don't know if you noticed.
Oh, the 2-hitter from Reese Olson last night in 6 innings? That was pretty great.
That's not underrated. That's not underrated at all.
Was it?
Did you see they repainted the
Oh, no,
parking spots?
I did see that.
I got
yeah.
to tell you,
The parking
so the parking
spots? Yeah.
spots, the paint outside, as you know, the parking spots, the lines have completely faded. And
They hadn't completely faded, but they were
Oh,
rough.
dude,
In
Gator,
the
it was
back.
it was a lawless land out there.
in the
were
back,
rough.
they were gone. And I always park, and so I'd pull in, and I'm like, am I between the lines? And I couldn't tell.
No, you're right about that. Yeah.
Who knew?
And I know, right? It was a
I didn't
guessing
know.
game, and you don't want to be that guy. So you're just trying. Like I love being the first one here, which in the area I park because I can just pull up next to the curb, and I'm like, I don't have to interpret where the lines of the parking spots are. So underrated, awesome. They repainted the lines in the parking lot, so now there's that line of delineation, and you don't have to go. Am I the a-hole?
Well, Doug's a rule follower, so he
I am a
wants
rule
to know
follower,
what
yes.
where
Well-
I gotta be, where I gotta be in between.
As long as we're talking about the parking lot, because I agree. Because I did notice it when I came in. I'm like, ooh,
Underrated, awesome.
these are kind of well defined. And as I pulled in, I'm like, I am pulled in perfectly.
Right.
Like
Nailed
nine,
it.
honestly, 9 times out of 10 when I pull in, I have to redo it and come back in because I want to make sure I'm between the lines. And you're right.
But
There's
you
a lot of
couldn't see
guesswork.
the lines.
But now I can see them, and I pulled right in. Perfect. So now it makes it even more obvious that was it like 2 years ago? I mentioned there was somebody who was parking in
Yeah,
the visitor's
somebody was
lot.
parking
We
in
were
the visitor-
I was upset about it, and it
You were
turned
really
out.
worked up.
I
And then
was.
the
I was worked up.
WWJ dude who was
Yeah.
showing up at 2 a.m.
And
was the
he's
guy
like,
doing.
"What's the problem?" Like, well, you're not a visitor. Don't park in visiting parking. So I've let this one go. I haven't brought this one to the air.
Uh-oh.
Someone else is doing it, and I think I know who it is, and has been doing it for months now.
Parking in the visitor spot?
Parking in a visitor spot. And I-
Employee is parking
Yes.
in the visitor spot.
Yeah, and I can't tell if they're doing it just to F with me because they know that it bothers me, or if they're just being innocent about it. But if it's who I suspect, it's another person who gets here in the freaking morning, way early in the morning, right? Before anybody else. You've got your pick of the litter of the spots, and he takes the same one every time. It's the same visitor spot every freaking time. And I'm getting upset with you, cowboy. Just saying.
So it's a guy,
Yeah,
cowboy.
cowboy.
I picked that up.
Somebody works at our station?
Not for 97.1.
Okay.
No,
There's like 6 radio stations.
that's right.
So
Well, if I said cowboy,
I don't. I don't. I apologize. That doesn't
Greg
help
knows.
me.
Greg knows what I'm saying.
I have no. Are we not sharing who it is on the air?
Does he have a southern accent?
He does not.
Does he wear spurs?
I don't think he does.
Wait, why? Where does he park his horse? Like, is he putting his horse in the visitor spot?
Well,
Is
there's
that
no
the-
trough,
Yeah.
so that's unfortunate for the horse.
I don't know what to do with this information because I don't think you
Well-
want to out this person.
Well, I like the person. He's a nice person. He's a nice guy.
Well, why do you suspect it's this cowboy?
Because there's a personalized license plate.
Oh.
And I think I know who it is.
All right.
Just saying.
So what are we doing about it? Anything?
I'm not sure yet. This is the first time I brought it to the air. It's been bubbling for a while, but you mentioned the parking lot, so I thought this is a good time to bring it up as we're talking about the awesome new lines in the parking lot.
I do appreciate. Thank you,
Cheryl did a great job
Was it-
of wrangling the person to get him to do it.
Was it Cheryl?
It was
Do we
Cheryl.
credit Cheryl?
I will credit Cheryl. Yeah. Talked to her when I came in.
Works our front desk the
Yep.
best around.
So it's awesome. But Jason,
Oh.
I'd like you to park in a parking spot, not a visitor
You know what?
spot.
It's interesting that Gator considers himself like the parking police.
I don't want to.
Yeah, but you
I would
clearly
expect
are.
everyone to be upset by this. Who parks out front here? Who wants? Of course, we all want to have the king spot, right? You all want that perfect spot, but you can't have that one because it's a visitor spot. You're here early enough in the morning. Go ahead and get the one that's just to the right of it. That's actually a spot for people here.
Doug, you know what Gator needs?
What?
He needs a Segway from like a mall cop. He needs to come out there in a Segway.
And just
Really?
issue a ticket.
Yes.
If I can issue tickets, I would.
You know what's funny is when you asked, do you know what he needs? I thought the correct answer was to chill the F out.
Oh, a chill pill?
I thought it was something else.
Not sure.
That would help too.
Yeah. Gator's really mellow today. It's good, man. Park where you want.
Who cares?
Whatever, dude.
Yep.
We're good.
I don't think you're good.
Oh,
I'm not going to lose you for the whole show, am I?
No, not at
I've
all.
seen you
Because I've been thinking about this for months now. This has happened for months, and perhaps I'll send an email to the individual alone. I wouldn't,
What if he
put him
sends
on
back,
blast.
get lost?
I don't think he'll do that.
No, probably not. All right, I was going
Because
to
we're
bring up.
friendly with each other.
Well,
I don't know.
well, we were. So the underrated annoying thing is, I feel like you've just trumped it with what you think is an underrated annoying. Somebody who works here parking the visitor spot. We currently have fitted sheets on our bed, and the corner pops up
yep,
every night.
yeah,
Every night,
yep.
it's this one set of sheets, and I'm like. Yesterday I like made the bed and I tugged that thing up and under as far as it could go.
Doesn't matter.
And in the middle of the night I wake up and the fitted sheet had popped off and it curled up and I'm laying on like just mattress and I can't. I'm hostile towards these sheets.
Let me help you out here. There's two things. First of all, the easy solution is now they make sheets that actually have
I know.
straps, and those they're life changing.
Well, we've got like 3 sets of sheets, and my wife put these on like Sunday, and it's Friday, and we're 4 for 4 or whatever. You know?
Yeah, with it flipping off. Yeah. The other thing is this: you have a mattress pad, I assume.
Yes.
Okay, is it cloth or is it like slick? Well, the reason I ask is because if it's the newer ones are like for the cooling pad, it might actually be like a slick, like synthetic surface almost. And when you put sheets on top of that, it feels like you could slide right off the sheets. And I think the sheets ride up more on that kind of mattress pad than it would on just normal.
Suffice it
old
to
school
say,
mattress
it's only a problem with this set of sheets. Now, what I could always do is just change them.
You could.
Yeah. It's a lot of work.
Happy. I think I know what Doug needs for Christmas.
What?
Sheets with straps.
Well, we've got sheets that work, man. Sheets that work. It's just this one set of sheets.
I think you never have enough sets of sheets.
I think you can, but the bottom, because suffice to say,
It's annoying as
it's
hell.
underrated
Yeah.
annoying,
No, I
and
hear
it
you.
keeps happening in our house. And I woke up at 2:30 this morning, and now my wife's asleep, and I can't really pull the sheets because she's laying. And I'm like, what am I going to wake her up? Say, honey, get out of bed so I can fix the sheets?
So the new hotness now with mattresses is having the adjustable base.
You know this because
I know this because I have an adjustable base and I freaking love it. It is
from where? Where'd you get it from, Gator?
It's from True Sleep.
Okay.
I am telling you that the adjustable base is, and we say game changer a lot. It really is. I mean, to be able to lift your head up just a little bit or a lot if you want to watch TV in bed. If you've got, let's say you hurt your ankle, you sprained your ankle playing basketball with the kids, you can lift the front up and it gets to the right level. It's fantastic. I love it. But if you don't have sheets that have the straps, and you've got the adjustable base and you're going to play around with it, you're going to have all types of problems.
These are underrated, annoying things in life. All right, we mentioned Lions tickets. I'm going to reset that in a minute. How you can win them. And additionally, we got the Wide Night Omaha 4-Down Round League Blitzing at 10:30. It's Carson Anderson, 97.1 The Ticket.
Here's the thing about Gibbs is he needs to touch the ball more. We need to get more production out of him. He's a first-round pick, number 12 overall, and right now he's got 23 touches. That in 2 games.
Didn't Bijan have around 23 just on this Sunday?
Right, and whether it's and what Jahmyr Gibbs brings to this offense is the opportunity to be very creative, and that's where TJ and I talked about it yesterday on the podcast. Where's the creativity been in this offense? Last year with Amon-Ra St. Brown, we saw him line up in the backfield. We saw him line up everywhere. And we saw one play on a 4th down conversion to Amon-Ra St. Brown. One play that we look at and we say, okay, that's creative. We saw the flea flicker. That was creative. It created a touchdown.
He had one other play because I remember saying a Gator. I don't remember.
But with Jahmyr Gibbs, I would
play
expect to see more creativity with how you use him.
Got an email here from a listener. Are your fitted sheets designed by Satan? Yes. The worst. The worst. Kang, you ever have that problem? Corner of a fitted sheet pops up.
Of course, man.
It's terrible.
There's not one person. Is this first world problems? I'm not even sure.
It's totally first
I don't
world
wanna-
problem. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Complain too much, but
No,
yeah,
it's a great point.
we've all dealt with this.
And it's the worst. And your spouse is asleep, so you can't fix the sheet in the middle of the night. You just got to deal. Now you're mad, trying to get back to sleep. It's awful. Satan wins again. All right.
So not today, Satan.
I was up for an hour and a half last night. Seriously,
I know, dude. I can totally see you getting, because I've been there. We've all been there, haven't we?
I mean, you get annoyed, then the hard drive starts running, and now you're awake and you're thinking about stuff, and I'm like, damn it.
And it flips up, curls up, and now it's like smacking you in the face.
Yeah, and
Come on.
you got that uncomfortable mattress pad. It's just it's just terrible. Yes,
Like the
Kang.
mattress pad is staying in place just fine. Why can't the sheet stay in place?
Yeah, the bottom. Kang, you nailed it. First world problems. First world problems.
Yeah, I mean, what's even your thread count, dude?
Yeah.
I've got 100% pure Egyptian thread. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, well,
Baller.
Yes, it is Egyptian, Gator.
well played.
All right, so we're sitting here on Thursday. Homecoming for Michigan, Michigan State on Saturday. Lions, Atlanta Sunday. Here's something I really don't like. You ready?
I am ready.
Oh, wait. I got to reset the lines.
Okay.
Yeah, my bad. All right, so here's the deal. Let's start it right now. Something said between right now, 10:21 and 1:40 will be the answer to the Carson Anderson quiz question. The way this works is we'll have a quiz question. It'll be something said on the show. An example will be like, what did Kang refer to as first world problems? And the answer would be fitted sheets popping off. But we hadn't opened up the window. The window is now open. Something said between now and 1:40 will be the question and answer to the Carson Anderson quiz question. The first person at 1:40 with the correct answer will win these Lions tickets. A pair of tickets to the Miller Lite Tap Room for Lions game Sunday against the Dirty Birds, and we'll give away a pair. But if you don't win, stop by Buffalo Wild Wings in Washington Township tonight for the Thursday football feast from 6 to 10 for another chance to win, courtesy of Miller Lite and Buffalo Wild Wings. So there you go. That's all set. Here's the deal. I'm going to read this as it's written. This is the Lions practice injury report. Taylor Decker, Wednesday, NP. Gator, which means?
Non-participant.
Kirby Joseph, Wednesday, NP. David Montgomery, Wednesday, NP. Emmanuel Mosley, Wednesday, NP. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Wednesday, NP. Halapoulivaati Vaitai, Wednesday, NP. Josh Reynolds, Wednesday, LP.
Limited participant.
Yep.
Or limited practice, I guess. And maybe it's no practice, limited practice.
Antoine Green, Wednesday, FP.
Yo, man, I ain't practicing.
F that.
Right.
It means the opposite of that.
Oh, is it
means
full practice? Okay.
It's not F-P, exclamation point.
Like F. Scott Fitzgerald. What do you have against Scott Fitzgerald? What do you mean?
And
Just tell him
finally,
F him.
Frank Ragnow, Wednesday, FP.
Full practice for
Yep.
Frank. That's good to hear.
So out of all of these NPs, which NP bothers you the most? Decker, Joseph, Montgomery, Mosley, Amon-Ra, or Vaitai?
The one that bothers me the most actually is Mosley. And I get it because it's a stupid reason. Well, it's not a stupid reason. It's my reason, but
A knee and a hamstring?
it's because I expected him to be back from the knee, and then he all of a sudden developed the hamstring. Like the hamstring, it felt like it came out of nowhere because it obviously didn't happen during a game because he hasn't played in the first two games.
Nope.
So that's why it bothers me because I was expecting him. Remember, it was a few weeks ago that they activated him, and we're is he going to be ready for the first game? And I'm like, probably not, but we're going to get him ready. And then word came out at practice that he had pulled a hammy or whatever, and now he's out again. And it feels like it's already delayed 2 games, and now how many more games is it going to take up? when it's clearly a position where this is part of the offseason acquisitions.
Yeah.
One of the guys that you were counting on to step in and be a guy, and he's not because delayed with the hammy now.
So
It's aggravating.
if I
it's
can
like
take
sheets that curl up.
Yeah, well, right. Is it that aggravating? It's funny. I look at this. It's aggravating. I get it, but easy there.
I know. Hold on.
Of all the NPs, the guy that I want back most Sunday. God, this is a tough one.
It is
I'm
tough.
Like, my instinct says it's Decker.
Yeah, I know.
Because I think this
Yeah.
whole team's success and failure is predicated
Offensive
on
line.
that offensive line being what they're capable of. And, you know, Vitai's important too, but if you have Decker back, now Sewell goes back to right tackle and Glasgow's a guard, and I don't think that's as much of a drop-off as Nelson playing right tackle. So I want to say Decker, but my God, if Amon-Ra can't go.
Well, I guess this is where I'm calming myself down because I feel like a lot of these names, this is just maintenance. And I think with Decker, why I'm not as concerned is because I feel that, okay, this is just the veteran maintenance thing you're going to do.
Ooh, with Decker, you feel that way?
Well, hang on.
Sorry.
Initially, I'm feeling like this, right?
Yep.
But then when I heard Dan Campbell talk the other day, and he made it, and he said, "Oh, he's day to day. He's getting better every day." But the tenor in his voice, the tone of his voice, made it seem like to me that this could be a while. Like it could. This is a lingering thing that you're going to try to get him ready, and probably not this week. Maybe not for Thursday, but maybe after that. And I don't know why my mind went there, but it did. But I want to not be worried about it and just think, oh, we're talking about a guy who's like an 8-year veteran in the league or a 7-year veteran in the league, whatever he is.
Mm-hmm.
He knows the playbook. He doesn't have to be on the practice field if he's healing from an ankle injury. Let him get 100% from the ankle injury as close as he can, and then, you know, Sunday we'll be all right.
I'm growing more concerned. And Kang, you were talking about in the office today, the Decker thing is getting like it's starting to sound like this might be several weeks.
Well, he had that finger thing 2 years ago.
That exactly why
It seemed like, he's got a
deja
finger.
vu. It's the deja vu thing.
Finger's not a big deal. He'll just tape it up and get out there. And no, it was a really big deal and needed surgery, and it was kind of a big deal. And I don't want to think that about this. But at the same time, both of you guys, do you feel like if they didn't have 2 games in a week, do you think this list would be as long, or do you think they're just being overly cautious? Look, we got to take care of everybody.
You know, I don't know. I don't know if it's let's sit him out game 1 because he'll play game 2, or they're going to miss both games, but they're going to get 3 weeks to get better.
Yeah, I have no idea as well. I don't think it factors into it, Gator, but I'm not really sure. The Decker thing bothers me because obviously the dude's tough. It's not that. It's just that's the one thing that you built this whole team around was the offensive line, and we saw them healthy together for one game. I know we're only 2 weeks into the year, but it doesn't look like it's happening again. Like Vaitai is, who knows? Decker, I don't think he's playing this Sunday personally. That we're down 2 offensive linemen going into game 3 already, and I'm not sure I can see the end of the tunnel.
That's sort of the you got to be effing kidding me fact of the season. We'll get back to this. Swing around the league next with the Wide 9 Omaha thingy. 97.1 The Ticket.
I'd prefer to not be here right now. Welcome in. People, I thought we were done with it. I thought we were done with having to lower our expectations, but that's where I'm at. It's a beautiful day here in Detroit. It's a beautiful life. But I have to tell you, I have to lower my expectations for this team because they're not ready for it. They're not ready to deliver on what I thought they were ready to deliver on. Because yesterday was unforgivable. That was as rat-ass, sloppy, nonsense a performance as you're going to see. 10 days rest, coming home, a team coming to town who has no playmakers up front and has street free agents at both tackle spots. You hit the quarterback one time. This team went out and made mistakes that they just don't make. And whether it's, I got a real problem with one of the fourth downs, but that's fine. The fumble to come out of the half, to flip the game on its ear. This defense on third down, able to do nothing. Nothing. And Rico's BFF, Geno Smith, beats us again.
Doug Karsch, Scott Anderson, 97.1 The Ticket. Busy day here on the Karsch and Anderson program as we get you set for another big weekend of football. Starts tonight, NFL game. Let's swing around the league. So yesterday, Gator received. Today I will.
You ready, Doug?
I am ready.
All right, man, here we go. I'm not ready. All right, now I'm ready. All right, since 2002, 99 teams in the NFL have started the season 0-3. Only one of those teams went on to make the playoffs. It was the Texans, by the way. This year, there are a bunch of teams that are 0-2 and staring 0-3 in the face, but three of the notable ones are the Bengals, Chargers, and Vikings. They're all in danger of going 0-3 and possibly missing the playoffs. Is this a must-win for those teams?
Let me be clear. 1-99. 0-3 teams. 1-99 made the playoffs. It's possible that the team I picked to win the Super Bowl is going to have the number one pick in the draft. The Chargers and the Vikings play each other in what amounts to the Elimination Bowl on Sunday. Cincinnati's playing the Rams. I'm just going to go with the Chargers. The Chargers need this win.
You need this win.
Because I need this win. I've said it. I'll say it again. Y'all better win a game. I'm going with the Chargers.
Wow. I feel like the easy button is to say it's must win for all of them because I think it's must win for all of them. I believe.
Thanks, Gator. Thanks.
Yeah, I believe in the number.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
Is that a crazy stat?
The question is this a week a must win for these teams? It's not who is it most to win for. Is it a must win for these teams? The answer is yes. All three of them. Look, the Vikings got to because the division, it may not be out of hand, with the Lions running away from it. You do have your opportunities to play against them twice, but they can't afford to fall down to 0-3 and get that far behind. obviously the Bengals have their problems with the quarterback. I think the Bengals are kind of screwed, and the Chargers, for Doug's sake, please God, win a game.
Yeah, it is a must-win. Stats don't lie. Only one team out of 99 has made the playoffs after starting 0-3 since 2002. For me, the most probably the Bengals, but yeah, they got to win all three of them. I know Vikings and Chargers play each other, but maybe a tie. All right, was the hit by Micah Fitzpatrick on Nick Chubb that ended his season, was that a dirty hit?
All right, for the sake of the show, I'm going to bring the play up, and I'm going to watch it again, even though I know it's awful.
Wow, you're going to watch it again?
Yeah.
And then determine whether it's dirty right now?
Yeah.
Okay, why don't I answer the question? Exactly. I don't know what Minka Fitzpatrick's supposed to do. How do you bring a big back down? You go low. And it's unfortunate. I don't see it as a dirty hit. I don't think he went in thinking he was going to blow out his knee. And we see that tackle a lot with defensive backs going low to try. It's why running backs hurdle people. They expect the low hit. And so nobody complains when they get hurt, when they hurdle. Well, he hurdled him because it was a dirty hit. I don't think it's a dirty hit. I think it's an unfortunate football circumstance.
I agree. I don't think he was some heat-seeking missile out there. It's not something after the play. This is the problem with the league. Is that they allow it to happen, so it's not a dirty play. It's within the rules. Taking a runner's legs out is what you do. If you can't get the right angle to hit and wrap and take him to the ground, this is what you do.
Yeah, it's obviously not against the rules. He wasn't flagged for it, so that's not the question. I think it's definitely debatable whether it's dirty or not. He was being taken down by another player already. I don't think he needed to go low. I'm going to say it's definitely reckless. He knows better as a veteran. I think he saw the entire play happening in front of him. He didn't have to torpedo him like that. He was already going down, like I said, by another player. I don't know if it's dirty, but it's definitely, in my mind, reckless. This past Monday, we had two games which overlapped each other on Monday Night Football. Should they do this again? Do you like the double Monday Night Football game?
Not really. I found that I basically only watched one game, and it's. So this is a question. It's a personal question. Do you like flipping back and forth? Do you want to set up two TVs for Monday night? I'm fine. I don't need the double Monday night game.
I don't like the double Monday night game. Don't like it at all. I want to. Monday night is special. It's the one game. You're the solo action that night. This is what you do. You drop everything else. You DVR other shows, and you watch Monday Night Football live. I don't need to have two games going on at the same time. It's distracting. I don't like it. It throws off my routine. I don't like change. Stop it.
And you're a channel flipper, too. You enjoy flipping usually. I don't want to be get off my lawn guy or a traditionalist, old school, whatever you want to call it, but I agree with you guys. I prefer just the one game on Monday night. It does make it more special, in my opinion, Gator. Maybe it's just me, but even if the game sucked, I would watch the one Monday night game. But now if it sucks, I'm definitely going to switch to the other game and see what's going on there. So I don't know if this helps the NFL, but they're going to do it again this week. So we'll see. I guess ratings determines everything, right?
Yep.
All right, this year, the Tennessee Titans will wear the Oilers throwback uniforms twice. I think the first time is October 29th, and they'll do it again later in December. Last week, a Houston Texan executive said that the Texans will wear Oiler-inspired colors at some point in 2024. Settle this right now, guys. Who gets to wear these sweet Oiler jerseys?
Neither team. Stop it. Yeah, is either team called the Oilers? No. If Houston wanted to have sole possession of that name again and those colors again, then they should have been called the Houston Oilers when they got back to the league instead of calling themselves the Texans, right? And the Titans have no business. They left Dodge to get to Tennessee, all right? And they changed the whole franchise name. There's not a symbol remnant left of what was the Houston Oilers, so they can just stop it. But the Houston Texans, if you want to get it back, then change your name to the Oilers.
I see why Tennessee claims the name Oilers in the uniforms, because when they first moved to Tennessee, they were called the Tennessee Oilers for 2 years. They played one of those years in Memphis. But I feel like the uniform and the look belongs to the fans of the town that they left more than it does the organization that left the town.
You with sound logic. I like it.
The old uniform and logo and altogether retro sweetness should have been left in Houston. And I think the Texans have the claim more than the Tennessee franchise.
Doug, you are absolutely correct, my friend. There's only one answer. It's the Texans, and it is all about the fans. The team left them, but the fans stayed. The Oilers belong to the fans. I don't like Tennessee Titans. I guess technically they get to take all the history. Eddie George or whoever even. Do they get Warren Moon as well? All that stuff because that's the team that
Earl
moved?
Campbell?
Yeah, I don't like that. I mean, the fans they were screwed here. They get the Oilers name. Only the Houston Texans should be able to wear the Oilers colors. All right, people are starting to talk. Some say the Jets should trade for Kirk Cousins. Vikings are 0-2, as you know. Do you think the Jets should trade for Cousins and try to salvage and still go for it this year?
No, I think the Jets should tank. Now, see, here's the thing: is Cousins is good. He's really good. But is it worth putting Cousins behind that offensive line? Because you put Cousins out there, and you know what he's going to do? He's going to get sacked and blow out his Achilles. Right?
Yep.
And plus, the Vikings just traded for Cam Akers. They're not throwing in the towel just yet. So I'd say no.
The Vikings shouldn't do this. Kirk Cousins has a no-trade clause. It's a full no-trade clause in his contract. I think he likes it there in Minnesota. He may not even want to leave, even though the price is really easy to handle. I think it's a $10 million cap hit this year, but by the time the trade deadline rolls around, it's just over $5 million. So it's not a big hit for a team to take. But if you're the Jets, 100% right. It doesn't matter who your quarterback is. I said this a week ago. It doesn't matter if you have Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers back there. They're going to get hurt because the offensive line sucks.
You both are ignorant fools. Yes, they have to trade for Kirk Cousins. They have a special defense. You cannot go another year letting this special defense go to waste. They knew what their offensive line was when they went and got Aaron Rodgers because they needed an upgrade at quarterback, and they don't even care because any upgrade will help this team get to the playoffs. Zach Wilson is that bad. They go get Kirk Cousins. They actually have a shot. It's only a one-year deal because he'll be a free agent at the end of the year anyways.
Well, that special defense gave up 30 points last week.
Zach Wilson threw 3 interceptions in Dallas at home. There is a widespread confusion last Sunday when Sean McVay elected to kick a field goal on the last play of the game when they were down 10 to the Niners. Many fans think this had a lot to do with the point spread, which was anywhere from 7 to 8.5 points. McVay answered that question this week, said he had no idea of the spread. He just didn't want to risk Stafford under center for another Hail Mary snap. You buying this?
Nope. Not even for a little bit. I don't buy it at all. Do I think it had something tied into the point spread? Did he know about that? I know what I don't. What I really believe is it had nothing to do with putting Stafford out there for a Hail Mary. You don't want to put Stafford out there for a Hail Mary? Put the backup quarterback there if you don't want to risk your quarterback. But it's absolute garbage to kick a field goal at the end of it. You weren't breaking up the shutout in the game, right? This is a joke. Sean McVay sucks.
The McVay hate is strong. With
Yeah,
this one.
we kind of knew where that was going no matter what, right, Doug?
Stop lying.
Yeah, they could always just have Stafford take a knee, honestly, if you're worried about him. But the reality is, I don't think he had any idea what the point spread was, and I don't think he was up to any shenanigans because the NFL will guard against that. And if they think a coach is manipulating point spreads or trying to get a cover, I think it would be investigated. I think it's way too risky for McVay to take that chance.
Well, time for an investigation.
He had nothing to
I think
do.
it's a high time they investigated Sean McVay.
He wasn't thinking about it.
I'm kind of buying it, but I think he missed an opportunity here. I really don't think the spread affected his decision to kick the field goal. I think he did really have a plan to, get the 3 points, onside kick, and get it back, but time ran out, so he didn't have time for anything but one more play. You know what the answer is? I looked it up. This is actually one of the tiebreakers by net points. Points scored, points allowed. It gets deep when you get there, but it is a tiebreaker. So all you have to do is say, hey, instead of losing by 10, I wanted to lose by 7. Easy. Done. End of story, right?
And that's why he's a cheater.
God, he can't stand McVay. And that concludes the Y9 Omaha 4 down around the league blitz thingy. Hey, discover how good your water can be with a new Kinetico system that removes up to 99% of contaminants. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Get clean, purified water and reduce plastic bottle waste. Call 855-339-4242 or visit cgcwater.com. Save up to $1,000 on a K5 drinking water system. We got one of those. Water tastes great. Call 855-339-4242. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, your authorized independent Kinetico dealer.
this was such I don't think we overplayed how hyped this game was for fans as a season opener, coming off a victory over the defending Super Bowl champs.
The building was alive.
Standing room only. Everyone talked about how loud it was. The players, the coaches, media, everything. And I expected a good team, which I still think the Lions can be a good team, by the way, because it's only 2 games in the year. But you win this game. We all said it. You go out and win this game. And to let down the fans, including myself, because I'm a fan, I'm just like it's just so deflating that they lost this game.
It was exactly deflating. All the energy that came in from, the place was amazing yesterday. Everybody was in their seat like at least 5 minutes before kickoff, which never happens. People filter in a little bit later. Everyone was already there.
I heard they opened the doors even earlier than usual.
They did. And it was so loud before the first snap of the game. I'm like, wow, this place is crazy loud right now. And an 8-minute drive to start the game by Seattle just totally put a pin in it. And, the Lions, they struggled. And then finally they start, doing their thing offensively. And Goff looked fantastic. But it was deflating.
Doug Hart, Scott Anderson, 97.1 The Ticket, open lines, 248-539-9797. Later, we open up the big old tub of pretzels. Haven't done that in a while.
Come on.
Homecoming for Michigan and Michigan State. National analyst said something about one of our teams. I want to hear from the fan bases how they would answer the question based upon what he had to say about one of our local teams. Lions Sunday take on Atlanta. So I was thinking about this game. They got off to this 1-1 start, right?
This is true. They are 1-1.
And everybody was flying high after the Kansas City game. And a complete and total erosion of confidence after Sunday's loss to Seattle with some of the fan base. Not all the fan base, but with some of the fan base. And I've already heard this term thrown around. And we try our best not to dabble in grand overstatement, but one might be the term must win. Is it a must win for a team trying to break through? Is it a must win for a team that has playoff aspirations? Is it a must win if you're trying to win this division? No, not even close. Is it a must win for our sanity? Yep.
Yep, there we go.
So, depending on what the must is, you must, like if you say it's a must win because it's a must win so we don't completely melt down next week. It's a must win so we don't have our deepest fears start to feel like they might be reality. It's a must win to keep us from going absolutely crazy. But if you step back and just try and look at it without thinking about history or the stupid term that we have tagged our Lions with that is applicable every time they come up short on 3rd and 4, or every time they turn it over, every time anything goes wrong, this term gets paraded out. But the bottom line is, for our sanity, it's a must win.
I agree with you. And beyond that, it's just, I think getting that second win as early as possible is also important, because the first year under Dan Campbell, it took forever, right? They went how many games without the first 10 or 11 games before they won. And then last year they started off 1-6. You got to give me a better start. And the better start, 2-1 will feel so much better than 1-2 going into a short week against the Packers on the road. I need that second win because I need to erase the thoughts of the slow starts in each of the past 2 seasons. They finished 8-2. They were outstanding in the second half of the season last year. They looked like they would have been a problem had they made the playoffs. Alas, they did not. And the motivation was not enough to get them through last week's game against Seattle, even though Seattle's the team that kept them from going to the playoffs. but I need that second win. I need it as soon as possible. Please happen on Sunday, because if they suffer some injuries in that game, which are inevitable, it feels like, they're going to be even more shorthanded going into Green Bay, and I
Short
just
week
don't like how
on
this
the
is
road.
working.
Yeah, but we're talking about, too, the wild swing of what it's going to feel like after a win and a loss. Sometimes there's subtleties. Sometimes there's subtleties between a win and a loss. There's no subtlety this weekend. When that game's over and the result is in, the difference between a win and a loss and how Detroit feels is dramatic. Train back on the tracks, first place in the division, looking forward to the showdown with Green Bay, or, oh my God, now they have to go to Green Bay. Especially if Green Bay wins their game on Sunday against the Saints. I mean, Green Bay started 2 games on the road. They're probably happy to be 1-1. Not thrilled, because they probably thought they should beat Atlanta too, but happy to be 1-1 in the totality of their work. And now they've got back-to-back home games.
Yeah, and look, I don't know what to expect with them taking on New Orleans, because I don't think much of New Orleans' team, given that I'm not a big David Carr or Derek Carr fan as quarterback for
David Carr, for that matter.
Whoever it is, yeah. Whichever overrated car it is. I'm not a fan of what New Orleans has, so I know they're off to are they 2-0 actually, New Orleans at this point?
Yeah,
they are.
So I think that's surprising, but whatever happens there. I'm concerned with what the Lions are going to look like on Sunday. What I expect to happen is Atlanta's going to try to run the football because they think that the Lions can't stop the run. That's what I expect. What I expect is that if that goes south, if the Lions are up to the test to stop the run, then my next concern is Kyle Pitts going to have a field day because the Lions can't match up when it comes to taking out a tight end and taking him out of the game plan. So those are my concerns there. Can they stop Bijan Robinson? Does that mean that, hey, let's put the big linebacker in there. Let's get Jack Campbell out there. Let's bring up a couple guys that have been inactive, that are defensive tackles. Let's let them play, and maybe we'll sit somebody else as a defensive end you don't have to play this week, or somebody else in the secondary, wherever it is. Do you have to shore up that defensive tackle position, keep those guys fresh to stop Bijan Robinson?
248-539-9797. Frank, you're on 97.1 The Ticket. What's up, Frank?
Hey, good morning, guys. Well, this is something that was brought up last week that was discussed throughout your whole station, the up-down theory.
Yep.
And last week it played out.
Yep.
And it's going to play out. Everything is set up to play out this week. And if it plays out the way it should, isn't that the same old Lions?
If they come back and play well this weekend?
Yeah, and they blow them out, or they win big.
I mean,
No, it just
Again,
plays
that's
into
a very-
the up-down theory. If you subscribe to that.
it's one of the reasons why I hate the term "same old Lions." It gets applied to almost anything. It gets applied.
You're right.
It gets applied to so much. I think the Lions playing well this weekend doesn't mean they're the same old Lions. Right? I mean, isn't that the same old Lions?
Well, the up-down theory can hang on. Well, Frank, the up-down theory can still work for teams that are playoff teams. What I don't think the up-down theory works for is for teams that are actually really good and, Super Bowl contending teams. I thought at the beginning of the season, this is why I was so confident going into last week, I thought the Lions were one of those teams, and they weren't. They lost to Seattle. Whether it's a Seattle problem or they're just a better than average football team remains to be seen. But I mean, it doesn't mean if you go with the up-down theory, it doesn't mean that you're not a playoff team.
No, I'm not saying that they're not a playoff team. I'm just saying that this is set up to be an up-down game.
It is. I will agree that it is set up to that, but I don't think if it is an up-down game, and they play really well, my takeaway from that won't be SOL. Not even close, quite frankly. I mean, the problem with SOL is I think everybody has a different definition. My definition is finding new and creative ways to blow a football game, and I mean,
the Falcons started off 1-0, and then they came back to beat the Packers. Was it up down for the Falcons? It seems weird how people apply it. I don't believe the up down theory.
Yeah, I do believe in the up down theory. I didn't. I used to think it was Wojo folly. I was like, Wojo with his up down theory, and then I just kept watching games. I'm like, my God, Wojo's right. More of your phone calls and feedback coming up. Carson Anderson, 97.1.
I need to know what your concern level is for the Lions. The loss Sunday was bad. We talked about it for damn near 4 hours yesterday. Both Dan Campbell's end of game decision-making, the defensive game plan, and the injuries that you incurred. Well, the news got worse late last night, where now C.J. Gardner-Johnson has a torn pec and is in all likelihood done for the year. When you add it to the list of you're not going to have James Houston until November, week 10. J-Mo's already gone through week 6. You have Taylor Decker injured. You have David Montgomery injured. You've got a brutally difficult game against Atlanta and a short turn to Green Bay on the road the following Thursday.
Brought to you by Bill Brown
Guys,
Ford. The Lions welcome in the Atlanta Falcons to Ford Field in just
Sunday,
3 days from now, and with them will be former Detroit first-rounder Jeff Okudah, who was eventually traded after struggling to break out here. His defensive coach, Jerry Gray, says not to expect to see Okudah looking for retribution. Well, Okudah says he has no bad blood with his former teammates in Detroit. Falcons coaches and players made it very clear that their game plan is to take away the Lions' explosive plays, mentioning rookie running back Jahmyr Gibbs specifically, with David Montgomery likely out. 68 players will hit the ice at Red Wings training camp beginning today. They begin official prep for their upcoming season in Traverse City. If you're up there, $20 will get you in to watch practices each day. GM Steve Yzerman says that every single position will have competition. Players are split into groups named Team Howe, Team Lindsay, and Team Del Vecchio. Alex DeBrincat's first time in the ice came next to Dylan Larkin and Lucas Raymond on the first line. The Tigers changing gears from facing one of the best teams in baseball to one of the worst. They'll open a 4-game set against the 106-loss Athletics tonight in Oakland. Dan Dickerson's call will be at 9:40 p.m. right here on 97.1 The Ticket. And Week 3 of the NFL season opens tonight at Levi's Stadium. Giants at Niners with San Francisco favored by 10.5. Star running back Saquon Barkley expected to be out for New York. At the Ticket Update Desk, I'm Chris Villar. For more, go to 97.1 The Ticket and Odyssey.com.
Don't forget, Lions tickets to give away, 140, a Carson Anderson quiz question. If you pay attention to the show, listen to the show. Between now and then, again, today at 140, we'll ask the question. First one with the correct answer, you will get a pair of tickets to see the Lions Sunday against the Dirty Birds in the Miller Lite Tap Room. If you don't win, you can stop by Buffalo Wild Wings in Washington Township tonight for the Thursday football feast from 6 to 10 and another chance to win, courtesy of Miller Lite and the Buffalo Wild Wings. 248-539-9797. Let's get back to your open line calls. Tony, you're on 97.1 A Ticket. What's up, Tony?
Hey, buddies. How y'all doing? Hey, Doug. Hey, Gator. Listen, I got a question.
Sure.
Now, when David Montgomery got hurt Sunday, Kareem Hunt was available Monday morning. Am I right?
Yep.
Also, if they wanted to trade for Cam Akers, they could have done that. Now, Cam Akers has been traded to Minnesota. Mm-hmm. And I'm a little worried with Reynolds as a backup and putting all this pressure on our rookie running back. And plus, our offensive line ain't healthy. So I do have my doubts on what's going on right now.
Well, look, I mean, the Cam Akers trade is interesting because it's basically a swap of a 7th for a 6th round pick in 2027. I mean, that's so the Rams.
2026.
Is it 2026?
Yeah.
The Rams will get a 6th rounder, and the Vikings will get the Rams 7th rounder. I mean, it's not much compensation. Cam Akers isn't exactly off to the best start.
No, he's not. And he's not at the best start of his career. I mean, this is his 4th season in the league. He hasn't been healthy in his time in the league. He's only started 15 games in 3 years plus another game. This year, he has 22 carries for 29 yards and a touchdown. I mean, there's nothing exciting about Cam Akers. I don't think they missed out on. I mean, other than it's a nothing draft swap, I guess, for picks, and it's a guy who, last year had some yards, but I don't know, he just hasn't been healthy, and I don't think he's anything special.
Well, either way it goes, I would have preferred Kareem Hunt and behind Reynolds, before Reynolds, and there's guys out there.
I guess, I mean, you got to remember the Zonovan Bam Knight that they got from the Jets, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets more carries than Craig Reynolds this weekend.
Yeah. I got to add one thing, and I got to ask your opinion, Doug. And hey, Gator, look, because y'all my buddies with NFL draft, so I just got to ask you right now.
Okay.
If there's a quarterback with the Lions, are we getting a quarterback? Deion Sanders' son there, we're going to pass up Deion Sanders' son.
Because they have Hendon Hooker, and because they have Jared Goff.
I just want to add on to this, Gator. The quarterback class is going to be very good in next year's draft. I just want y'all to remind that.
I mean, it looks like it should be, and Lord knows if you listen to the show that I'm a big Shedeur Sanders fan. That being said, if I'm the Lions, I'm not looking for a quarterback.
The funny thing is literally every year we say this quarterback class is great.
It
happens every single year.
Maybe not the Kenny Pickett year.
Maybe not, but almost
like
every
Kenny
year.
Pickett,
No, that's
though.
a great point, but it does happen a lot.
But this year right now, it seems like there's a lot of guys that you could like. Now, let the season play itself out and see where you feel at the end of it. But that being said, the Lions have a couple of options at quarterback already. They drafted Hendon Hooker, drafted Stash. He's getting healthier by the day, and they expect him to be ready to join the team at some point this season. They also have Jared Goff under contract for another year after this one. And they could give him an extension, and I don't think anybody should be upset by it because he deserves it.
Yeah, he's playing incredibly well right now. I don't even know what we're talking about. It's week 1-1. They lose one game. We're talking draft? We're talking drafting a quarterback?
I think the problem is that the people that are the national outlets are coming out with these mock drafts. Like CBS Sports just came out with another one yesterday, and I heard Stoney and Jansen talking about it this morning. And just to see like where they have the Lions picking is interesting to see, which I think they had them selecting around 26 or 25 or something like that this year, and taking a wide receiver, by the way. But it's just it's way too early. Way too early. And if you were to ask yourself, what position do the Lions need to add to this team if they're going to look at the draft? It's not quarterback.
No, it's probably a defensive end.
Probably a
It might
defensive
be a wide
lineman,
receiver.
corner.
Depends on what happens with J-Mo when he comes back.
Maybe a DT.
Yeah.
Maybe an offensive line.
Yep.
Maybe an offensive. Right. There's a lot to look at, but quarterback
we've got holes.
But quarterback
We've got holes everywhere, man.
It's not even
Why
the
do we-
top
yeah,
five.
I don't even.
How do we have this many holes already?
As the guy and the last person to get on the Jared Goff bandwagon, like they don't need a quarterback right now. Like it's a first round quarterback.
Let's stop and behold what has happened.
Well, he's played great the first 2 weeks. It's not the pick six is arguably not even his fault. I mean, what else is he supposed to do?
God, we got a call earlier this week.
He's throwing interceptions
now
again.
That he's
Right.
throwing
Now that he's
interceptions
back to-
again.
Oh, because he had the third longest streak in the history
Right.
or something. in the
Just
NFL.
came to an end.
There it was. Number 384. Here we go.
Let's go to Brian. You're next. Hi, Brian.
Hello?
Hey, Brian.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, Brian.
Oh, sorry. Let me hit this off.
Good idea.
Hey, all right. My question is the defensive line. Oh, of course, there's holes in it. And our draft. Broderick Martin. I haven't heard anything on him. I mean, he's a healthy scratch? Is he just not ready? Is he hurt? I mean, what's going on with that?
Great question. It's actually a great question because we haven't heard much about him, and they clearly loved him. And they loved him so much they didn't want to let him. They didn't want to let the possibility of them not getting him, so they moved up to get him, and now he's been a healthy scratch. I would rate this as a moderate, slight, mild disappointment that he hasn't been in uniform.
Because it's only been 2 games.
Because it's only been 2 games, and it's okay, and they've got a lot of veterans up there that are getting the first crack at it. But he is a telltale player to me, gauging how good or bad our draft ninja is, because he's the most intriguing pick and off the radar guy. They got aggressive to get him, and yet he's probably the most player that they could have waited to draft later, which may or may not be true. You always think that, but you really don't know. We say that with certainty, and we don't know about a lot of guys.
You don't know, but I do share the slight disappointment at this point.
How's a way to? It's I don't know. I don't know how to.
Well,
what the analogy is.
It's interesting because they're starting the season right before the season began. Before Isaiah Buggs was tweeting about stuff.
Yep.
We thought Isaiah Buggs was going to start next to Aleem McNeil.
Mm-hmm.
And not only was he not starting, he wasn't even on the roster. Or he was on the roster, but he wasn't even going to be activated. And they told him that ahead of time. And he wasn't activated again last week. And that's him. Let alone the rookie who we were told he's coming along nicely. He's a big, strong kid, can play in the middle there. And let's see. Okay, great. What do we got? Not playing. So they got 2 guys. Now, I don't know if it's just that because he's a rookie, he's got to earn the right to play, and you got to get through some other guys. But Buggs is the one that's more curious to me.
Then why he's not playing.
Yeah. And maybe that changes on Sunday.
Well, we're going to find some stuff out because I don't know that they're going to – they haven't generated a ton of pass rush. The defensive line, okay, time to start producing a little bit more, so they might shake things up.
With Buggs, I mean, Campbell pretty much said it, right? The tape doesn't lie. He wasn't happy with the way Buggs performed either in the scrimmages,
the
joint practices or the preseason time that he got. So I kind of think the only reason they kept him is because he had that contract they just extended him to. I mean, he might have been a cut candidate otherwise, but now he might get a shot because the 2 guys that are playing right now inside, or the rotation they have inside, aren't generating much pressure. So maybe this is a Buggs week.
248 Bugs week. I like it. Bugs week. Bug week at Ford Field. It's Carson Anderson. We'll get to your feedback. We got a question for college football fans. We'll get to that today at 11:40 for Michigan and Michigan Staters. 97.1 The Ticket.
Look, when you transform your outdoor space with Trex composite decking from Builder's First Source, you're going to be in love with what happens. It's never going to be the same, man. Fade, stain, scratch, and mold resistant. Trex composite decking from Builder's First Source gives you a maintenance-free, ageless look. So whether you're looking to build it yourself or maybe you need a referral for a Trex certified installer, Builder's First Source has you covered. With decking for every budget, make the most of outdoor living with Builder's First Source. 2 locations in Clinton and Shelby Townships. Builder's First Source is Macomb County's largest and first source for decking.
The C.J. Gardner-Johnson possibly being out for the year, that I told you yesterday, I was maybe on the ledge. I'm on the ledge now and it's not just that injury, but that kind of put it over the top. I mean, Sunday's loss was one thing. It's the loss of bodies at this point. I mean, attrition is part of the NFL, but my God, I feel like I can't remember a week where they lost this many players and this many starters, right?
Yeah,
I mean, Decker was already out, but
Dan Campbell said this morning, he's like, we're gonna be thin. And then he pointed out we were kind of like that last year to start the season too. And I was thinking, and went 1-6 for the start. Let's not have a repeat.
Yeah, I mean it ain't great, but this is the NFL, man. I've said for like the last half a decade, attrition's such a big part of this game, and you've got to have as much depth as possible. We believed in the depth prior to the year. So the question becomes, do you still believe in the depth? All right, hold on. We just have some breaking news. Make sure I get this right. One moment, please. Tigers have, according to the Detroit Tigers, the Tigers have named Jeff Greenberg as their 20th general manager in club history, as announced by President of Baseball Operations Scott Harris. And thus begins the Google searching on Jeff Greenberg.
Yeah.
Who the F is Jeff Greenberg?
Well, he's a front office guy, right? So I just found a story from last year with the headline.
I bet we have a listener named Jeff Greenberg.
We probably do. I probably went to high school with a kid named Jeff.
Jeff Greenberg, give us a call. If your name is Jeff Greenberg.
Are you Jeff Fader? So
if you're Jeff Greenberg, call us.
Here's a story. It says Chicago Blackhawks get Chicago Cubs' Jeff Greenberg for the front office.
Wait, what?
He's a front office guy. This is a story from April of 2022. The Chicago Blackhawks are hiring Jeff Greenberg, formerly with the Chicago Cubs, as their new associate general manager.
He went from baseball to hockey?
Yep, not going back to baseball. Because you have to keep in mind, as the general manager of this team, he's not going to be making the trades. That's all Scott Harris. What they're looking for is someone to handle other managerial duties.
Is this Rod Wood?
No, I've said this all along. The Tigers need to be tougher on the blue line. Like, how many times have I said this, guys? All right,
you said it a lot.
This is the right call. This is the right hire.
Mm-hmm.
Bring the grind line back.
If Scott Harris is making all the calls, didn't the Pistons do this a couple years ago?
But hired someone from a hockey team?
No, they had a GM, but he wasn't making the calls.
Yeah, well, because they had
Stefanski.
The agent, who was the super agent?
Arn Tellem?
There you go.
Yeah, didn't they have a weird structure like this where the GM, nobody knew what the GM actually did?
Right, wasn't it? And it was it the Van Gundy year, or was it right after Van Gundy?
Evan's telling me it was Goldberg from the Mighty Ducks.
So I'm reading more in this story, and it says specifically Greenberg will be tasked. This is regarding when he went to the Blackhawks. Will be tasked with building out new computer and app-based systems that will streamline information for the organization. A journey he had a front row seat with the Cubs.
We have an IT guy now running the Tigers?
I'm just telling you that this isn't. No, he's not. It was never going to be
Don't
that.
get mad. I'm just joking.
I know, but I'm just saying. We can have some fun
you
with
get hostile, and I'm like,
You're right.
dude,
We
I'm
should have
messing
more
around
fun with
over
this.
here.
We should have more fun with this. Scott Harris is the guy that makes all those decisions.
And our GM's
and now
IT
they're bringing
guy.
in, yeah.
Our GM is trying to help us transfer, go from like Microsoft to Apple.
What, is this guy going to help with the emails or something?
Yeah, that's right.
I have problems with my iOS. They got him straight from the Genius Bar, it says. I'm kidding.
All right. Well, at some point, there's going to be a press conference, and this thing can be explained.
Yeah, you would think.
How the power structure is going to, because I don't know enough about it to be actually really critical of it or praise it. And I got to be honest, I wasn't paying attention to Blackhawks front office moves.
It sounds like this is like an analytical type thing in a way.
That's exactly what I was thinking we now got
says there's an appetite.
Our executive in charge of analytics.
There's an appetite to bring some of the processes we built in baseball, which can help drive decision-making, and that will touch everything from scouting to player development to player acquisitions. Again, this is what he said when he took over with the Chicago Blackhawks from the Chicago Cubs. So going baseball to hockey, and now he's coming to baseball. Spent 11 years with the Cubs. So there you go.
You're reading this from a story?
Yeah.
Because the Tigers just released something here.
Okay.
All right, so here's I'm gonna skip around this press release a little bit. The Detroit Tigers have named innovative and experienced executive Jeff Greenberg as the club's general manager. Greenberg, 37, will report to President of Baseball Operations Scott Harris, and joins the Tigers after spending the last 16 months as associate GM of the Chicago Blackhawks. So Harris's quote, "I am thrilled to add an executive of Jeff's quality to our baseball operations leadership team. Throughout this search, it was important for me to find someone who can fit seamlessly into the culture we are building here. I also wanted to bring in someone with a fresh perspective and new ideas." Tougher on the blue line. that could challenge us on a daily basis and make us all better as we strive towards our goal of bringing postseason baseball back to Detroit. We're excited to welcome Jeff, his wife Erin, and their sons Leo and Sam to the Tigers family. Story goes on to say, or the press release goes on to say,
well, they work together in Chicago.
in the most recent role with the Blackhawks, Greenberg oversaw the strategic systems. This sounds a lot like the story you wrote. They oversaw the strategic systems and processes in hockey operations. He worked all functions of hockey operations, including scouting, development, coaching, and operations to establish and optimize a modern, continually evolving approach. So he's been with an intern with the Pirates, the Diamondbacks, and Major League Baseball. He did a lot of internships. He's a graduate of Columbia Law School. Ooh. And the University of Pennsylvania. So he's a dumb guy. Okay. All right, we got another Ivy League guy. And
when did he attend? When was he at Columbia? Because Scott Harris is also from Columbia.
Columbia Law School, 2011, he graduated.
They're like the same age, aren't they?
Yeah,
They're really young.
these guys grew up together. I mean, they probably went to school together there. They
partied together.
They partied together. You know, they know the. No, but they work with
seriously, they played fantasy baseball together, and then now running the Tigers.
You know what we should do? We should do this for a living.
Yes.
We're that good at fantasy baseball.
This is an awesome dream, though, right?
These guys are living the
They
dream.
are living the dream.
Now they better be good at it,
of
because
course.
our fate is wrapped up in their.
But they were together with the Cubs back in the 2012 to 20 range or whatever it was, and during that time when the 11 years he spent with the Cubs coincides with the time that Scott Harris is with the Cubs. But that's actually it's pretty. Hopefully it works. You're right. Number one, please God work out.
Yeah.
On a side note, it is such an awesome thing to be able to, if you've got a friend and you guys come up together and you work together and you're like, hey, I got a gig over here. At some point, I'm bringing you along.
When you're like between the ages of 16 and 24, 25, fantasy sports are a huge part of your life. And these guys, I don't know why I'm assuming they played fantasy baseball
they
together.
Probably did.
But if they went to college together.
Doug, you're spot on.
Yeah.
I think these guys are like, they played fantasy baseball together, dude. And I'm like, hey, man, we're really good at this.
And now they're.
These two are like,
But this is what happens when you get to this the management side of it, is that it can cross germinate, if you will. You can, if you do it in football, maybe you can do it in baseball, do it in hockey, do it in basketball. There are guys all over the place in sports that have come from different backgrounds that are all with sports.
If it's been said it's been said a million times. For a baseball team, one of the hardest things to do is to win the Stanley Cup.
It is.
They've said, that's said.
Yeah.
That's written.
But if I'm not mistaken, didn't the Tigers PR director, Ron Colangelo, I believe he has a hockey background.
Does he? That's a little bit different, though. If you're in baseball operations, which means you're making baseball decisions,
But if it's based
okay, here's the deal. The Blackhawks took a bigger risk than the Tigers are. The guy's background is baseball. The Blackhawks hired him, and now the Tigers have hired him back to baseball. And if you're going to be like suspicious of who's making a weird move, it was the Blackhawks more than the Tigers.
But I know a guy who worked in a general manager type capacity for a minor league baseball team and also with the Canadian Football League team.
Right.
Like that was on his resume. I'm just saying that going from sport to sport, it's not crazy to think that, because it's about different processes that they're putting in place.
Well, it's true, because apparently Greenberg did play fantasy hockey as well, Gator.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
That makes sense. No, but seriously.
I feel less like this guy. This is so. It's a little bit out
there.
Yeah,
familiar with Shane Gostisbehere?
But in all seriousness,
up and coming, babe.
They're young guys, and I think the Tigers are going way more analytical. I don't know how people feel about that, but this is like a stat, kill them with stats, and this is the launch angle and the whole nine, right? Yeah. They're all in. This is...
not to get too baseball heavy here, but I was thinking about, because, I think about baseball all the time. I was thinking last night about the future of the Tigers and how different it feels now compared to what it was like a year ago, when they're like, who do they have? They have no bats coming up or anything like that. They literally have like 5 bats right now at the AAA level that are going to be competing for jobs with the Tigers, because they have been hitting tremendously. Whether it's Colt Keith or Malloy or Eddie's Leonard, who's a guy they got from the Dodgers. Justice Bigby has just been killing it at every level he's gone to, including the AAA level. Then Chase Young, who they drafted before the Scott Harris era. That's another guy who is matriculated very quickly and he's killing it in AA. I mean, they've got a bunch of bats that I feel like in the next couple of years, they're emulating what he wants, right?
Yeah, two things. Chase Young.
Sorry, what did I say?
It sounded like you said Chase.
No, I meant Chase.
Right, but it sounded like just.
I got quick. I was excited.
Yeah, no, I understand. I just want to make sure that people doesn't think you're referring to a defensive end. And two,
no, it's a defenseman.
Kang, any excuse this guy has to reel off Tiger minor league stats, he loves it. He just loves it.
I do.
You love emptying that bucket.
100%. 100%.
Hey, Doug, did you know?
Yeah.
Single A.
Yeah, exactly. If I didn't do it on the air, I do it between commercial breaks, and Doug's just rolling his eyes.
No, but that's not for you.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, people, if not for Gator, we would not know what's going on in the Florida Gulf Coast League. 248-539-9797. Tigers got a GM, Jeff Greenberg. Yep, that Jeff Greenberg. 97.1 the ticket.
About Gibbs is he needs to touch the ball more. We need to get more production out of him. He's a first-round pick, number 12 overall, and right now he's got 23 touches. That in 2 games.
Didn't Bijan have around 23 just on this Sunday?
Right, and whether it's and what Jahmyr Gibbs brings to this offense is the opportunity to be very creative, and that's where TJ and I talked about it yesterday on the podcast. Where's the creativity been in this offense? Last year with Amon-Ra St. Brown, we saw him line up in the backfield. We saw him line up everywhere. And we saw one play on a 4th down conversion to Amon-Ra St. Brown. One play that we look at and we say, okay, that's creative. We saw the flea flicker. That was creative. It created a touchdown.
He had one other play because I remember saying to Gator, I don't remember who
but
was
with
the top of my
Jahmyr
head.
Gibbs, I would expect to see more creativity with how you use him.
I'd prefer to not be here right now. Welcome in. People, I thought we were done with it. I thought we were done with having to lower our expectations, but that's where I'm at. It's a beautiful day here in Detroit. It's a beautiful life. But I have to tell you, I have to lower my expectations for this team because they're not ready for it. They're not ready to deliver on what I thought they were ready to deliver on, because yesterday was unforgivable. That was as rat-ass, sloppy, nonsense a performance as you're going to see.
Yeah, so, that's my reaction to the new Tiger GM.
Does this mean they're going to scout Europe more?
Hope so.
More Swedes.
Yeah.
More Swedes.
It's Holmstrom. What? No, it's Lindstrom. Wait, what?
Here we go.
More left-handed sticks.
I mean, it's funny. I never expected that the Tigers would hire GM, and one of my first calls was going to be calling Ken Kal and finding out what he knows about this guy, because he's coming from the Blackhawks. Now, to be fair,
he was there for like a year.
Yeah, and he spent 11 years with the Cubs before the Blackhawks are the ones that really went out on a limb and hired a baseball guy to be their assistant GM.
We're just having a little fun with it.
Yes, we are. But now he'll be back in baseball as the general manager who reports to Scott Harris. So this might be a little bit of Harris's. It might be Harris's calling the shots. And Greenberg is.
I assume Harris is calling the shots.
Yeah.
Well, Greenberg's the guy you fire when things go wrong.
There you go. Where's Greenberg?
I can't fire myself.
Right.
I'm going to have to hire a GM to fire.
No, I mean, that's the way I always looked at it. You know, maybe this guy sets things up, puts the processes in place of getting the analytics in order, and, you know, at the behest of the president, which is Scott Harris. Yeah. I just, until I hear otherwise, I'm not expecting, is it Jeff Greenberg? I'm not expecting Jeff Greenberg to be picking up the phone and calling the Padres about making a deal.
Or the Oilers. The Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah.
Isn't Greenberg Jonah Hill? This is Moneyball, right?
Right.
Scott Harris is Brad
Yes,
Pitt.
100%.
Right?
He just hired Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
He just hired Jonah Hill.
Oh, okay. Bob, you're on 97 on a ticket. Hi, Bob.
Hey, guys. Big fan, by the way.
Thank you.
I think you're all missing the point.
It might
the
be.
Tigers obviously are lacking in the power department, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what do they do after every home run?
Oh, they put the helmet on and they grab the hockey stick.
Oh.
There you go. That was the missing link.
There it is.
Pulled it out. You tied it all together, Bob.
Moneyball all the way.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you. From an unnamed texter.
What does he do? When I point at you, I want you to say the answer. He scores goals. That's right.
Maybe he will help us win the lottery like he did for the Blackhawks. That's for an unnamed texter.
Oh.
Yeah, baseball actually does have a lottery now.
For what, the first 3 picks?
Yeah, but not everybody's eligible.
Last I checked, the Tigers were like in the 10th position.
Well, let's see.
Which would have been a couple days ago.
You got.
I have a
God,
problem.
Bing sucks. Bing is the worst.
Why do you have Bing?
I can't get away from Bing. Our computers are on Bing, and I'm trying to.
Yours
Google.
is. Mine's on Google.
I hate Bing. Bing's the worst. All right, I just simulated the lottery, and the Tigers moved up from 8 to 4. That's not what we're looking for, Greenberg. All right, next up, we're hiring this IT guy to figure out a way to get rid of Baez's contract.
Maybe that's it.
An unnamed texter. My granddad went from head football coach at Purdue, GM of the Chicago Mustangs pro soccer team, and then AD at Northwestern to GM of the Chicago White Sox. Dude, who the hell is this? I'll do some research on who this guy's granddad is.
Yeah, once you heard Purdue, you're all in.
Easy. But
Gator, am I right? I mean,
guys, it makes perfect sense. Aren't we the team who puts a hockey helmet on and grabs stick after a home run? That's from Dan.
Yeah. You know what? We made fun of the Baez thing there.
Yeah.
I mean, they were both there when Javi Baez was in Chicago.
Okay.
So is there something where maybe did this guy help Javi Baez become a better hitter?
Do you think, hold on, do you think for 1 second that when he was with the Blackhawks, if he could help Javi Baez get better, that Scott Harris wouldn't have called his boy from Columbia up and said, hey, what did you do with Baez? Of course he would have asked him.
Why don't you come on board?
Weren't Patricia and Quinn bros? Hope these two aren't a repeat of those two.
Well, I kind of like what they've done so far.
Patricia and Quinn?
No.
Oh.
Harris. I like what Harris has done so far. I have no idea what Greenberg's done so far.
I'm not sure on Harris yet. I'm open-minded to it. I don't dislike him.
I said so far. I mean, there's not a big sample size. He's got a few free agent signings he made, a couple of minor trades, and a draft. I like the draft.
George Costanza, I like sports. Maybe I can be a general manager. That's from an unnamed texter.
See, there it is.
Yeah. Boys hooking up boys is always a flawless strategy. Sincerely, Matt and Bob. I hear Greenberg's in favor of rolling 4 lines, but on a serious note, the Blackhawks went from all right to worst team in the league after he was hired.
Well, they did suffer some injuries on that team and did trade away some players.
Greenberg ruined the Blackhawks?
Did he? What'd they just get? Top pick in the draft?
Yeah.
Is he supposed to be a game changer?
I think he's overrated.
Okay.
Tiger's new slogan, light the lamp.
Hockey Town. I love it. 11 years of baseball.
I know.
1 year of hockey. He's all hockey.
Why don't we hire this hockey guy?
Yeah, in his introductory press conference, he's going to say, I got to tell you guys, it's so great to put on the Detroit Tigers sweater. It just means something to be one of the original 6 teams.
The reality is deep down, we're mocking the Blackhawks. but the fact of the matter is they just hired a guy for the Blackhawks to be their GM. Okay, then. Well, we'll see how it plays itself out. Let's get back to the Tiger stuff. Or excuse me, the Lions stuff.
Yeah, we're talking Tigers?
From an unnamed texter, I've driven myself crazy all week worrying about the Lions' injuries. I've decided just to see what happens and not worry about participation in practice. The only report I care about is the injury report released before the game. Well, that's smart because, as Gators pointed out, a lot of veterans don't need to practice. The word maintenance gets thrown around a whole lot. But, he's right. We shouldn't get too worked up about the LPs and the FPs and the NPs, all the limited, no, and full practice reports that come out. It's always better to see your guys are practicing, but, there was a bunch of NPs in front of Ragnow's name last week, and then he played, right? So
it's the FP that I worry about.
What's next? Baltimore wearing orange and brown throwback jerseys? Oh, that's in reference to the Oiler thing. So both the Tennessee Titans and the Houston Texans are claiming Houston Oiler throwback jerseys, which is actually really weird when you think about it. They're going to have 2 teams that are going to have similar throwback jerseys. What if they both wear them when they play each other?
They should. Home and away. Home and away Oilers versus each other.
But this guy's referencing the Baltimore wearing orange and brown throwback jerseys. Yeah, the jersey belongs to the fans in the town. That's how they should be used. Tennessee shouldn't be using throwback.
As soon as Houston got an NFL team again,
yeah,
it's over with Tennessee.
Yep.
You've got no claims anymore. You're done. You're right. It's totally about the fans. And the fans get their team back, even though they're not called the Oilers. They have a team in Houston again. It's like, the Browns, right? Mm-hmm. Team moved to Baltimore, like the guy, like the ticket texter was there. So,
all right. So I promise we get to this college football, Michigan and Michigan State. Let's follow through. I was listening to the Joel Klatt podcast last night, and he was describing how a bunch of teams at the top of the rankings, how he thinks their fans should feel. And he got to Michigan, and he used the term antsy. He thought Michigan fans should feel antsy. I want to know from Michigan State fans, and we'll take 10 texts each.
How many?
We're going to take 10 texts.
10 texts?
10 texts from Wolverine fans and Spartan fans. 10 each. What is the one word that describes how you feel right now? Joel Klatt used the term antsy for Michigan fans. What is the one word you use to describe how you feel about your team right now?
It's supposed to rain. But...
To make this work, make sure you declare whether or not you're a Michigan or Michigan State fan. All right. And do that as well so we can give you credit.
Yeah, that would help.
Yep.
Otherwise,
we don't know who you're
hellfire.
talking about. Well, we don't know who you're talking about. If your one word is pensive. Right. Okay, which fan base are you from? So M or MSU, tag it with your text and sign your name. We'll get to those 10 texts and read them coming up here on Carson Anderson, 97.1 The Ticket. Hey, get ready to start the NFL week off right, because all customers right now get a no-sweat same-game parlay for Thursday Night Football. Just place a 3-leg same-game parlay on this week's game, and you get a bonus bet back if you don't win. NFL same-game parlays are the perfect way to combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payday. Build your own or choose from one of the popular same-game parlays pre-built for you with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Visit FanDuel.com/Doug. And don't miss out on your chance to get a no-sweat same-game parlay on America's #1 sportsbook. Use it tonight for the Giants and Niners. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older and present in Michigan. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Maximum refund $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problems? Call 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help.
Hey, 10 days rest, coming home, a team coming to town who has no playmakers up front and has street free agents at both tackle spots. You hit the quarterback one time. This team went out and made mistakes that they just don't make. And whether it's, I got a real problem with one of the fourth downs, but that's fine. The fumble to come out of the half, to flip the game on its ear. This defense on third down, able to do nothing. Nothing. And Rico's BFF, Geno Smith, beats us again.
All right, let's get to these 10 texts. So, and then back to your phone calls. The Joel Klatt on his podcast said this week he thought Michigan fans should feel antsy. So we asked the question, what's the one word for Michigan State fans that you feel about your team? You know, we could throw in it if you're a Western fan or an Eastern fan or a Central fan.
But you have to tell us what kind of fan you are.
You have to, you just, and people.
I'm a fan of Ferris State.
Yeah.
And I'm happy.
Yep. You should be. The texts that are coming in, people understood the assignment. Cody's a Michigan State fan. The word he uses, annoyed. Although Jackson here in a bass boat used too many words. He said, I'm a Michigan fan. I'm a wee bit nervous, but forever hopeful. Jason in a truck, a Michigan fan, worried. Tony in Clarkston's a Spartan fan, and the word he uses is numb. Ben in Roseville, Michigan State fan, one word, gross. Tony, a Michigan fan, says one word, unconfirmed.
Interesting word.
Yeah. Kyle in Fenton, Michigan fan, says bored. LB is a Spartan fan. He says apathy.
Apathetic is not good.
No. Nick in Davidson says Michigan fan, underwhelmed. Wilson, an MSU fan, says ashamed. But get your word in if you want to text us, 248-539-9797.
Now you're asking for more than 10.
Well, I'm asking for, I'm actually kind of interested in Eastern, Western, and Central. If we get one of each, I'll be happy. We need 3 texts now. One from an Eastern fan, one from
What
a
about
Central.
LTU? They got a football
Lawrence
program.
Tech, go for it. Lawrence Tech fans. No, yes.
Wayne
Are we
State,
leaving anybody out? Or do we go, what is it?
Saginaw Valley.
Do we go Gliac?
Why not?
Are we going
Hope,
Alma,
Alma, Adrian, Kalamazoo, Albion.
Watermelon Sharks.
That's
Here
right.
we go.
Get them in. Let's get back to your open line calls. We're going to Ray. You're on 97.1 A Ticket. Hi, Ray.
Hey, what's going on, guys? You guys forgot about Wayne State.
Yes, thank you.
I mentioned Wayne State.
Tyrone Wheatley.
Okay. Hey, one thing I want to say about the Detroit Lions and any NFL team, and this goes back to the heydays. If you don't win your home games, you guys aren't going to make the playoffs. If we go in and lose this second game against Atlanta at home, that's going to really define what kind of team that we are. Because you're supposed to win your home games and hopefully you can split your road games, and then you'll see how things kind of play out from there.
It's typically a great rule to live by, yeah.
Right, and by us kind of glossing over that and saying that if we lose that game against Atlanta, I'm sorry. This team is not ready, and basically they were overhyped. I'm just kind of disappointed in it. So let's kind of focus on that they must win this game. It's not about if. They got to win this game. Right?
Well, 3 teams that won divisions last year lost 2 or more home games.
Well, let's just say you can win your first 2 home. You can't lose your first 2 home games starting out the season.
Well,
especially against teams that you're especially against teams that you were predicted to be.
What matters? What really matters, and as far as and you're right, it is very helpful to hold serve at home, Ray. I'm not disputing that. But it's not impossible. No team in the NFC North has won a home game yet.
Well, right.
No.
Packers haven't played one yet.
Yeah, the Vikings and Bears both lost their home games, and that's. Let's face it, the goal isn't really, the goal, of course, is to make the playoffs, but the bigger and achievable goal that feels very achievable is winning this division. If they lose at home, but the Packers also lose this week at home, then the Lions are going to be at worst tied for first in this division going into that Thursday game in Green Bay. But you're right in that go get a leg up on some people, right?
Yeah.
It already feels like they let one slip away that was winnable at home.
Because they did.
Yep. Against, Seattle's not terrible. They looked terrible in week 1. They had only won 3 of their last 10 games going back to last year. But we saw what Seattle's capable of. And, I guess time will tell how that loss ages. It might age very poorly and it might age respectably. But at the end of the day, they're the hard and fast rules. It's not a hard and fast rule that you have to win your home games, but it definitely helps.
It would obviously, and the Lions have what we think is going to be a great home field advantage because the fans have sold out the tickets. So they're going to be loud every game, but you got to give them something to cheer about during the game, not just prior to kickoff because they're excited to see some football. You got to maintain it.
And I think it's one of the most interesting parts of Sunday is what is Ford Field like?
Yeah. Getting back to the college football question.
Yeah.
With the Joel Klatt podcast assessment.
Yeah.
I'm not a Michigan fan, as you know, but I actually would agree with him on antsy because antsy means that, okay, you're growing tired of what you've seen and you just want to get on with it. Let's get to the meat of things. And I feel like that's how Michigan fans should feel. The first 3 games of the season, you knew it was going to be very competitive. And you saw the team look like maybe they just went through the motions, still won handily, were never threatened. But let's go. And now you're getting into the Big Ten season, and this is the week that you see it. I think antsy is a great word, but I can't speak for them.
It's decent. That's a decent word. I think everybody is looking forward to more challenging games on the schedule. And the weird thing is, Rutgers has won 3 Big Ten games the last 2 years. They had the football down 1 score on their last possession of fourth quarter against Michigan 2 years ago. That's a team that went to the college football playoff. Rutgers had the ball down 20-13. And last year, Rutgers led Michigan at the half. And this is probably the best of the 3 Rutgers teams that they will have played in the last couple of years. And somehow, some way, Rutgers has managed. They've been a feisty group against Michigan. So, I mean, there's going to be, it's the Big Ten. Harbaugh's back. There's going to be a little bit more, I think, excitement that's going into this game. We have gotten texts from all kinds of fans with their one word. And again, Joel Klatt on his podcast said he thought Michigan fans should feel antsy. He was just talking about teams at the top of the standings. We included Michigan State for how those fans feel. Katie at Central Michigan, Katie, a CMU fan, says hopeful. William, who signs at quarterback at Albion, feeling electric. Matt on a mower, Northwood University, excited. Ryan in Sterling Heights is a Ferris State fan. Rebound. They lost to Montana, I believe. Justin in Harrison Township is a Western fan in grad. His one word is disappointed. Blake, an EMU fan here. Happy. Nick in Novi. Fan of the Novi Wildcats. My one word is momentum. We get down to high school, huh?
I just went up to look because what was the Albion one?
Albion one was William feeling electric. You got their depth chart?
Well, I have some stuff up on them. They're 3-0 this year.
Yeah.
They have scored over 40 points in all 3 games.
Nice.
And have given up 20, 20, and 19. Most recently, a big 48-19 victory over Rose-Hulman Institute of Technology.
You didn't look up their depth chart, though?
I mean, I can.
Yeah, we need to.
Yeah, we got to find out if this dude's like the starting quarterback or
backup, QB3.
Yeah. I'm not seeing a quarterback. What did he say his name was? William? I'm just rolling through their roster.
There's a lot of quarterbacks on this roster.
There is a lot of quarterbacks.
Like a lot.
Yeah.
How many quarterbacks do you normally have, Doug?
Well, I mean,
4 or 5.
If you're talking high D1, there's like 9.
Yeah, there's like 9 on this team.
Is there?
None named William.
All right. Oh, whatever.
Maybe he's a former one.
Yep. Ferris fan and alum. I'm optimistic. That's from Matt. Western fan, although he writes in parentheses, Western. My one word is drunk. That's from Vinny. So. All right, there you go. All right, coming up next hour, we've got a big old tub of pretzels. We'll open that. Gator, do you remember last week as we sat here and were previewing the Lions-Seahawks game, Pete Prisco made a Lions pick. He didn't make a Lions pick. He made a Seattle pick. He picked Seattle to beat the Lions. We got Prisco's pick right here, right now for this game against Atlanta.
Oh, good.
Yes, we'll get to that today at 12:05. It's Carson Anderson, 97.1 The Ticket. All right, Doug Carr, Scott Anderson, 97.1 The Ticket. Hope you're good on a Thursday. We'll open up the Big Old Tub of Pretzels question of the day. That's at 12:35. So just some things to get caught up on. First, you can stream the show with the Odyssey app. Download it for your mobile device today. AUDACY. It's a great way to listen to the show when you're outside our listing area in the United States or Canada. You wish you had it someday. It's free, and you can always hear what's going on 97.1 The Ticket. So there's that. You can also stream to our website, 971theticket.com. Stream with video. Go to twitch.tv, search up 971 The Ticket, or go to youtube.com and search up 971 The Ticket. Love the people that do that. Participate in the streaming chat on the Twitch feed, and there's comment section on YouTube. All good for us here at 97.1 The Ticket. So there's that. Also, just a reminder, we're giving away Lions tickets, which is kind of awesome. If you want to see the Lions coming up on Sunday against Atlanta. We're doing a Carson Anderson quiz question. That is coming up today at 1:40. And it's usually something said on the show. The answer is typically pretty easy. So hopefully you've been listening throughout. But we will ask the question at 1:40. First one with the correct answer, you get 2 tickets. See the Lions and the Dirty Birds Sunday in the Miller Lite Tap Room. If you don't win, stop by Buffalo Wild Wings in Washington Township tonight for the Thursday football feast from 6 to 10 for another chance to win, courtesy of Miller Lite and Buffalo Wild Wings. All good?
All good.
All caught up? Boxes checked. Management will be happy. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Yes. Pete Prisco last week picked Seattle to beat Detroit. People groaned and mocked. Shut up, Pete.
I think I did that.
Yeah. Here's his pick for this week. The Falcons are 2-0 after winning 2 home games to start the season, while the Lions are coming off a terrible home loss to Seattle. The Detroit defense had some issues that game, but I don't see the Lions losing 2 straight at home. They get back on track here. Lions take it 27-23.
Not a whole lot of analysis there.
No.
It strikes me as that's Mr. Up-Down right there.
Kind of.
I don't expect him to lose 2 in a row. So,
well, I don't know if the format here allows him to go in depth. You know, sometimes they say, give us 3 sentences on each game. So you're not going to say, I don't like their zone coverage against Detroit.
I'm not being, let me say this. I'm not being critical of it.
Okay.
I'm just making an observation. There we go. Because there's a lot of people believe in Up-Down, and that sounds like that's just Up-Down. You don't expect them to lose 2 in a row at home. It makes sense. It's logical. I wouldn't expect it to lose 2 in a row at home either. I don't. My gut tells me that Atlanta's not as good as Seattle.
I would agree with that, but of course, only time will tell. But I would agree with that. Now, with that said, we earlier in the show described the this game. It's not a must-win. Okay. It's not a must-win for the playoffs. It's not a must-win for a team trying to break through. It's not a must-win for the division. It is a must-win for our sanity. You know, we're a unique NFL market in that we don't have really anything in almost all of our lifetimes. We have nothing to fall back on, do we? No. We have nothing to fall back on, nothing to lean on. No history with a happy ending to fall back on, right?
It's been a long time.
So we are kind of stuck with really just watching how other teams did it. And so if they lose this game, it'll feel all too familiar, and it's gonna set off panic. The difference between what next week is going to feel like, what Sunday night is going to feel like, based upon a win or a loss, I mean, it's dramatic. It is absolutely dramatic.
I feel like it's contingent on who's going to play on Sunday, who's going to be able to suit up, and who's not.
That injury report's long.
Yeah, because if we see an injury report like today that says long, you know, if there's a bunch of the NPs and they're not LPs, the NPs need to change to LPs, and the LPs need to change to FPs.
That's no practice, no participation, limited participation, full participation.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what we need to see. You start seeing that change.
For people who missed it earlier in the show, the NPs, the no participants in practice, were Taylor Decker, Kirby Joseph, David Montgomery, Emmanuel Mosley, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Hal Vaitai. Josh Reynolds was limited. Antoine Green and Frank Ragnow full practice. Now, I do think that we will have a hard time convincing some people that this isn't a must-win. I think some people probably look at this and go, no, it's a must-win, Doug.
Well, when we talked earlier, it is for our sanity.
Right?
In reality, is it? No, because it's one more game out of the 17, and of course you're getting closer to the final 17 there. I mean, you certainly want to win more than you lose, and for us as Lions fans that expect this team to be a 10, 11, 12 win team, y'all better win a game.
Yes,
it better happen sooner. And for me, I need to see that second win quickly because it took way too long to get to 2 wins in year 1 and in year 2. This is year 3. We expected it. I think, in all honesty, people probably expected it after 3 weeks that you'd be 2-1. You would have lost to Kansas City and beat the next 2. Well, they beat Kansas City. Off to a great start. Last week was a step back.
Sure was.
So step back forward this week.
248-539-9797. Let's go to Sean. You're on 97 on the ticket. Hi, Sean.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
Getting really tired of the whole town being down on the Lions now. Of course we're going to beat the Falcons. I mean, we had the Seahawks. If we would have punted and kicked field goals, we win the game. It's just ridiculous. 2 turnovers. I mean, come on. This is ridiculous. It's a good team. They've got the right elements. They're going to beat the Falcons. I guarantee it. It's a shoot the boot for me.
I've not. Did you say a shoot the boot for you?
Maybe.
I may have gotten a little carried away.
We were like, let him go. He's rolling. I mean, I think they're going to beat the Falcons. I'm pretty damn confident. I'm not shoot the boot confident, but I'm pretty confident.
I mean, Riverboat Dan, you can punt. Let me ask you this question. Did Pete Carroll go for it on 4th down over and over again the whole game? Did you see Belichick do that last week? Any good coach worth the salt, are they going for it on 4th down the whole game nonstop? It doesn't happen.
Well, they didn't do it nonstop, but they did do it when they thought it was.
He did it 3 times. He did it 3 times, which, I mean, because we always talk about first guessing. Like, you see something, you go, this doesn't make sense. And for me, it was the 4th down on his own territory. I know he said he was trying to steal possession, basically, but God,
he was up 4 points in the second half, and he went for it. That is ridiculous. I mean, punt and kick field goals, and we win that game. I'm convinced.
So
there's no way we lose it.
The question is he fully committed to that way of operating, or does he go, all right, I'll back off a little bit?
Last year, what I noticed is he was doing a lot of this in the beginning when we went 1-6, and then he stopped. He got really criticized. He didn't stop completely, but he throttled it back a lot, and then we started winning. I mean, it's too much. He's got to stop it.
I felt like they did a lot of it down the stretch. It's just who he is. It's his style. I don't think he's going to change too much. I think it all depends on situations. I mean, it's not like he's going for it on 4th and 2 from his own 24. They're going for it 4th and 2 from his own 44.
Kind of close.
No, it's not close.
It's
almost
close.
midfield.
I think when you are up by 4 points and you've got the ball in your own territory, it's almost, I mean, unless it's like 4th and an inch, to me, it's almost unjustifiable. And I'm not a hard and fast rule guy, so I guess that's why I allow for the 4th and an inch thing. But I found that to be a shocking move. Now, we may just have to say this is who he is. This is who he is, and they're going to have to
gamble.
And we're going to live and die with the Campbell gambles. And if he gets too many wrong, and it costs them football games and costs them chances at championships, it will cost him his job eventually. But to get this guy, and we like a lot about this guy, and I'm not saying fire him, okay? Let me be clear on that. But if you're going to like this guy and accept this guy as your head coach, which I am, I guess we got to accept that this is part of what comes with. Let's go to Don next on 97 on a ticket. Hi, Don.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
As far as the game on Sunday, I think the injury list is just a bit too long. Now, again, Gator says, yeah, if we get these guys to full practice, maybe, but I just don't see it. You know what this game reminds me of? Us going to Carolina and getting our teeth kicked in with the running game. I see that happening at home, and it's going to be incredibly frustrating. But I just don't see them getting past Atlanta, who's a hot team, even with the crowd. Even with the crowd, it's going to be very difficult. Really, for me, I hate to say it, but I'm looking ahead to the Thursday night game where we can get a couple more guys back, and really, that's the game that really is going to make or break our season, because we need to be able to beat them on the road, and we need to be able to handle our division and win the division. Honestly, with all these people out, boy, it's going to be a tough sell to make it happen on Sunday.
Well, I'll grant you, I do believe that all the division games are always more important than the non-division games.
You know, as a guy who's kind of on the ledge here because of all the injuries, not because of the 1-1 record, just the injuries piling up.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a scheme game? If they're down a bunch of guys, is this an Aaron Glenn, Dan Campbell, Ben Johnson game? Like, hey, you're going to have to win games in this league when you don't have a full roster. We already know that. That's the NFL. But Pete Carroll was able to do it with backup tackles last week, right? Is this a game where, hey, man, you guys are supposed to be really good at whether it's when to gamble or you're an offensive genius or Aaron Glenn, you got to generate pressure, whether it's blitz or a front four, something's got to change where we got to count on the coaches to win this game. You know what I mean? Coaching up, not just players, but scheme it out. Like, if Geno Smith he's gonna have to release the ball quicker, shorter routes, whatever it is, because they had backup tackles. We are gonna have backup offensive linemen in there. We're gonna have, Tracy Walker's a former starter, but we're gonna have backup secondary players in there. We're gonna have a backup, The
one advantage that Pete Carroll has over Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson to have backup offensive linemen is his quarterback's more mobile.
Yeah, he's got that. He's also he's a hell of a head coach too. I mean, you have to give him credit. He's done an amazing job in the NFL. But as far as the Lions against the run, it's only 2 weeks, but the Lions are top 10 in the league. They've given up 86 yards a game on the ground.
Yeah.
Teams are averaging like 3.5 yards a carry in the first 2 weeks. Seattle didn't run muck against the Lions. They didn't run wild. They didn't run much at all.
It's Carson Anderson, 97.1 The Ticket. Hold on to your glasses because we've got some exciting news from the world of vodka. Stoli Vodka, the iconic brand known for its exceptional quality and rich heritage, has unveiled a stunning new bottle design that's sure to turn heads at your next gathering. The new Stoli Vodka bottle is a true work of art. Its sleek and modern silhouette reflects the brand's commitment to innovation and premium craftsmanship. But it's not just about the looks, it's what's inside that counts. Grab a bottle today, experience the spirit that's captivated the world for generations. Stoli Vodka, it's a taste of excellence. Cheers.
This was I don't think we overplayed how hyped this game was for fans as a season opener, coming off a victory over the defending Super Bowl champs.
The building was a lot.
Standing room only. Everyone talked about how loud it was, the players, the coaches, media, everything, and I expected a good team, which I still think the Lions can be a good team, by the way, because it's only 2 games in the year, but you win this game. We all said it. You go out and win this game. And to let down the fans, including myself, because I'm a fan, I'm just like it's just so deflating that they lost this game.
It was exactly deflating. All the energy that came in from, the place was amazing yesterday. Everybody was in their seat like at least 5 minutes before kickoff, which never happens. People filter in a little bit later. Everyone was already there.
I heard they opened the doors even earlier than usual.
They did. And it was so loud before the first snap of the game. I'm like, wow, this place is crazy loud right now. And an 8-minute drive to start the game by Seattle just totally put a pin in it. And, the Lions, they struggled. And then finally they start, doing their thing offensively. And Goff looked fantastic. But it was deflating.
Doug Carr, Scott Anderson, 97.1 The Ticket, open lines, 248-539-9797. Let's get back to the people. Thomas is next on 97.1. What's up, Thomas?
Hey, how's it going?
We're doing great, Thomas. I hope you are as well.
Listen, I just want to say this. Lions fans are some of the worst fans on earth.
Why?
I'm one of the most positive Lions fans. You see the Chiefs lose the first game to us. Did you see their fans complaining? No. Did you see Lions fans complaining after we lose one, let's be honest, meaningless game right now? Yes. You never see it against a good, solid team like the Chiefs. You see them lose a game. You don't hear them complaining about Mahomes. You don't see them complaining about the defense coordinator, offense coordinator. It's literally just the Lions fans.
Well, what's the big difference between the Chiefs and the Lions over the last, 5 years?
Sure. You're 100% right. Chiefs have had a hell of a lot better team. But you know what? It doesn't matter. Where's the optimism? We're supposed to be the brand new Lions, not the same old Lions, and everyone wants to bring up the same old Lions.
Well, I don't think they want to. I think some people do.
Now, some people are looking for every opportunity to do it. But
I agree that some people want to bring up the same old Lions term. I think others are just scared. They're just scared. And I can't really blame them.
I mean, but if we got to move on past it, why are you scared? If we got to become this new team, then the fans have got to be a part of it.
I'll tell you why, Thomas. And I think the number one concern Lions fans have, at least just in gauging it from this week, is it's the injury concern. I mean, guys are getting knocked out already, and it's not what you expected. You didn't expect to lose C.J. Gardner-Johnson for the season. You don't expect to lose anybody for the season, but he's gone for a long time. Maybe returns before the end of the season. We don't know, but he's out for the foreseeable future. James Houston, the best pass rusher we have, he's out for who knows how long with a leg injury. And then you've got nagging injuries that are affecting other players that we don't know if they're even going to play on Sunday. It's the injury thing more than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want the fans to turn on the team.
No.
And by that, I mean Sunday in Ford Field from 1 to 4 o'clock. That's where it would be a quick reversal if people turn on them this week. Hopefully their play dictates nothing but support from beginning to end, 60 minutes, blow out the Falcons. Right?
Yes.
248-539-9797. Sheldon is on 97.1 The Ticket. Hi, Sheldon.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
We're good.
Well, I wanted to definitely say same old Lions, and I think, like the caller was just saying, if you have a reason to say same old Lions, if they do the same old type of things, like the explanation the coach gave for why he went for a field goal at the end of the game instead of trying to press to go for a touchdown, and also going for the fourth down when you're on our side of the 50 and we're up. I just thought both of those were same old Lions and losing type of techniques. And the coach is responsible for that. Now, if the team played bad and threw a couple interceptions, a couple more turnovers, the referees cheated us, even though they did cheat us on a holding call at the end of the game. But things like that makes the same old Lions from us fans. Those are the things we're used to seeing, and we're used to seeing losses. So that's why you say the same old Lions. It's not unwarranted. I don't care if it was game 1, 2, or game 16.
Well,
it's the same old things that we're seeing.
Hold on, because if it's game 16 and they're having a winning season, the context would tell you that it's not the same old Lions, right?
I agree with that. I will. All right, I will give you that.
But early here, I can see why people. I mean, I don't, Sheldon, but I gave my reasons for that earlier in the week. I don't throw away 9 months of building a belief system for one game. But with that said, I can understand why people might be quick to the trigger. And again, the most frustrating thing about that term is it's undefined. People apply it to everything. You know, hey, they lost on a last-second field goal, same old Lions. They got blown out, same old Lions. It's $80 for parking, same old Lions. I spilled a Coke, same old Lions, right? I mean, it's
not enough cheese in my nacho.
Same old Lions. People use same old Lions for everything, and that irritates me. Anything that possibly goes wrong.
My kid didn't get on the Lion King cam.
Same old Lions. 248-539-9797. Richard is next. Hi, Richard.
Hey, let me say that the people that are saying SOL right now are suffering from what we call premature exclamation. It's too soon. It doesn't mean that it might become that, but to paraphrase the Eagles, I'm sort of in the unpeaceful, uneasy feeling about them right now because of the injuries, because of some of the performance, some of the depth issues that are now becoming a mystery.
Well, and in fairness, Richard, really, I don't think there's a large percentage of people that are throwing that back around right now. I think there are some, but I don't think it's anything big. Now, if it happens on Sunday that this team isn't able to get past Atlanta, it's going to take on more water here, and we're going to re-examine why did you lose the game. But the numbers will increase. But right now, I don't think the numbers are that large anyway.
No, I don't think so. And I think this game, I mean, we want them to win. If they lose, it also depends how they lose. If we have guys that step up that we were hoping for, like Gibbs has got to step up. We need to see more from him. They need to use Laporta more, maybe Campbell more. Some other receivers got to do something. If some of the depth guys step up, but we lose a tight one because they have a better running back, they've got a better tight end, maybe they've got a better dominant receiver, depending if St. Brown is ready to go. If we play well and we coach well and we still lose, maybe because we didn't have the depth, that's the one thing. But if we lose because we can't cover the tight end, because bad coaching decisions, it depends on – that's going to make the taste worse if we lose badly. And I don't know. You don't know how it's going to go. But it's a referendum if we don't do well and Gibbs doesn't do anything. You start wondering, not a definitive referendum.
Yeah, I was about to say, 3 games in, I'm not, Gibbs, it's not definitive. It's starting to occur to me, Gator, not that this has anything to do with anything with the game. It just has to do with me. I'm going to feel pressure watching this game Sunday. I'm going to be nervous.
I'm going to be nervous too.
Because of the difference in what an outcome of a football game makes for this town.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be there.
It's just occurred to me that, I guess I said it. It's a must-win game for our sanity. So it didn't just occur to me, but it started thinking ahead to Sunday. It's really, in the grand scheme of things, not a big game. And yet this feels like maybe the biggest game in the Campbell era as far as acceptance by the Detroit fans.
It was so deflating on Sunday. We talked about putting the pin in the balloon there, watching it from the press box and seeing it unfold, and then watching Seattle get the ball in overtime, and it was inevitable, right? You just knew it was going to happen. You had that feeling. When it does, it's just you let out this big sigh, this big exhale, and you're like, here we go again. I hate this. And I'm already got my stomach's already kind of flipping around a little bit in nervousness for Sunday's game. And it's because I don't want to go through that again so early.
Well, because
Get
it
ahead of yourself.
it was a letdown, and you don't want to be.
Yeah.
I mean, this will be a major, major letdown. The Seattle thing, you can kind of be like, well, all right, maybe this is a Seattle problem. Geno Smith, he's mobile enough, always for some reason. Pete Carroll, but there's kind of like no excuses for the Falcons team. I don't care that they're 2-0. They're a very young team, not expected to do great this year. It's a fragile fan base for good reason. The one caller, a couple callers ago, compared us to like, oh, our Chiefs fans panicking. I'm sorry, man. They're the defending Super Bowl champs
Right,
with an MVP at quarterback. You know,
Kind of a weird comparison.
Yeah,
they got that thing that we don't have, the history of
and
success.
You just right now, fans, a lot of fans, we don't have complete unconditional confidence. We just don't, and there's reason for that. So that's why there's this nervousness. You know, we've been let down so many times that some people are anticipating it. And I understand what you're thinking, Doug. And Gator, I know you don't want to do this show Monday. Worse than this, if they lose to the Falcons, Monday's show is going to be worse than the Monday show we just did.
Yep.
I mean, because our pets' heads will really be falling off.
There's no doubt. 248-539-9797, 97.1 The Ticket. Snap into the action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/Doug and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older and present in Michigan. First online real money wager, only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued in non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problems? Call 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help.
I need to know what your concern level is for the Lions. The loss Sunday was bad. We talked about it for damn near 4 hours yesterday. Both Dan Campbell's end of game decision-making, the defensive game plan, and the injuries that you incurred. Well, the news got worse late last night where now C.J. Gardner-Johnson has a torn pec and is in all likelihood done for the year. When you add it to the list of you're not going to have James Houston until November, week 10. J-Mo's already gone through week 6. You have Taylor Decker injured. You have David Montgomery injured. You've got a brutally difficult game against Atlanta and a short turn to Green Bay on the road the following Thursday. Guys, I have to be honest. I mean, obviously, Sunday we talked about, Rico had a great question yesterday. Has it changed your expectations? Yeah, it changed mine.
The C.J. Gardner-Johnson possibly being out for the year, that I told you yesterday, I was maybe on the ledge. I'm on the ledge now and it's not just that injury, but that kind of put it over the top. I mean, Sunday's loss was one thing. It's the loss of bodies at this point. I mean, attrition is part of the NFL, but my God, I feel like I can't remember a week where they lost this many players and this many starters, right?
Yeah,
I mean, Decker was already out, but
Dan Campbell said this morning, he's like, we're gonna be thin. And then he pointed out we were kind of like that last year to start the season too. And I was thinking, yeah. And
tailgate show starts at 9 a.m. on our brother station, WWJ. The pregame show starts. Yeah, I mean, it's at 11 a.m.
Man, that's early.
It ain't great, but it's great. The NFL, man. It's fantastic.
Did you see the story about the baseball player who complained he wasn't feeling right the next day, he had his shoulder injury or something like that, and he said it was due to he only got 11 hours of sleep instead of his normal 13 to 14 hours of sleep.
Are we talking about a major league player?
Yeah.
Dude can sleep for 13 or 14 hours.
I saw his. I think he was an international player, foreign player. I want to say maybe in Japanese, but not that it matters. It's just for clarification.
They might have some technique that we're not aware of.
I saw that. I'm like, God bless you, man. This guy's going to become my favorite player if you can get 13 to 14 hours of sleep.
That's going to be your favorite player based upon how he sleeps.
Somehow he's able to
shocked.
get
this. It's kind of on brand.
My man gets 12, 13 hours.
That's
is that a nap or is that straight through the night?
I mean, it sounds like it's like be straight through because I only got my 11 hours of sleep in.
So it's funny. I have kids in college, all right? And I said to Gator last week off the air, like things that make you smile and laugh when you get to be an adult, but you just look back at fondly. Here's one. No Friday classes.
So great.
I mean, when you had a semester with no Friday classes.
You were at the bar on Thursday night.
You felt like a king.
Yeah.
Well, you're at the bar longer.
Right. Well, that's true. Yeah. You don't have to worry about getting up the next morning for class. It's great.
I'm still going to the bar Thursday.
Yeah.
I mean,
basically, nothing really changes. You're just not skipping anything on Friday. Right. So that's one. No Friday class.
Great Thursday night specials at the bar.
Yep. Another one is, and I don't know how they do it, but like you call your kids, it's noon, and they're like, "Yeah, I just woke up." What? You just woke up? I realize. Just trust me. Everyone out there right now that can sleep till noon, there's gonna come a time where you can't. I mean, I like slept till 9:15 one weekend last year.
Don't you mean like last decade?
Yeah. And I woke up and I'm like, it's 9:15. Where did the day go?
I've got stuff to return.
I mean, I don't sleep like I used to. I don't, because the dog is the number one reason. And then of course, as you get older, you just have different responsibilities and you don't do it. Like I can't, like when I was young, when I was in my 20s and early 30s, if it was the weekend, I wasn't getting out of my bed until 11 o'clock, 11:30 if I didn't have to.
Oh yeah, there were days and it's well after noon.
Roll out of bed and watch college football.
How did we do that?
I don't know. I don't, because it's like now it's like even I say it's a waste of a day.
Well, and really,
yeah.
It's what's funny about that is you look back and you get to and you're like, was that real life or did I dream that stage of my life? Did I really sleep until noon?
It's a Blue Jays pitcher named Yusei Kikuchi.
Bless you.
Thank you. The story that I'm reading says maybe Yusei Kikuchi.
Bless you.
Thank you. Should not have mentioned the sleep thing because now his fellow Blue Jays won't let it go, but he seems bewildered by the attention. No, he wasn't really joking when he attributed his early exit in Tuesday's win over the Yankees to left trapezius cramping from a poor night of sleep. He only got 11 hours. He prefers 13 to 14. My teammates asked me how I'm able to sleep so much, he said through an interpreter. But, like, honestly, if you just close your eyes, I feel like you should be able to sleep.
Does he have an oxygen chamber or something?
I don't know.
That quote right there, I hate him.
He says it typically takes Kikuchi about 5 minutes to nod off. Good. Wow. God bless you. And he begins his bedtime process with 10 minutes of meditation.
Doug, you need meditation.
I do.
You guys ever play the game where you look at the clock and you can't get to sleep at night, right? But you look at the clock, you go, if I fall asleep right now, I'll get 5 hours of sleep.
All the time. Yeah, I did it. I woke up at 2:30 this morning. I was doing it. It was 3:45, and I'm like, I can still get a good night's sleep if I get to sleep now.
My man over there can actually do it. You know, because none of us are falling asleep right now.
He
He just closes his eyes and he falls asleep.
That guy would be like an Olympian, and he would medal in sleeping.
He said he only needs 14 hours before his starts. On other days, he's happy to settle for 8, 9, 10 hours.
Did you just say he only needs 14
He only needs 14 hours of sleep before his starts. But on the other days, he's happy to settle for 8, 9, 10 hours.
I honestly, that's like a superhero. It's like magic power to be able to do that. To just close your eyes and go to sleep. I remember Gator did once nap during a commercial break.
I was dead tired. I told you I was
It
tired.
was years ago. I took a picture of him. He was sitting back in his chair. He's like,
Yeah.
I think he slept through the segment, too.
It's probably when I first got the dog.
that was, it was Sky the DJ days back
No,
when
it's
we were in the
before
other
that,
building. Yeah. So, all right, enough. 248-539-9797. Craig, you're on 97 on a ticket. Hi, Craig.
Hey guys, you know I'm guessing Kikuchi doesn't have kids and he gets to work every fifth day. I'd be a little
right
too.
Exactly.
Great
point. You know, as I've been listening all week, you know, you guys haven't had a show like this since December 24th, week of. That's 9 months since we've had a game loss that we've had to do in our own stuff. It's been a pretty great 9 months between then and now, and you know. The wound, I guess, wasn't closed.
Oh, of course not. I mean, look, there's a facet of our community that didn't buy in, and I'm not mad at them. The only thing that makes me get mad at them is when they basically say, "I'm better than you. I don't buy into the Lions." But you can't blame anybody for being hesitant. And I hope people understand why I'm not backing off my stance that they're going to be really good. You can't just throw it away after one loss.
Right. Yeah. You know, and the other thing I was kind of thinking about for Sunday is this is Ritter's third start away from home. That crowd has got to be nuts.
That's a great point.
Smith is a vet, right? Maybe couldn't be rattled. You know, he's played in the AFC East where they're animals. The crowd has got to get this guy to make false starts. You know, I listen, I know it's not a player, but I think Sunday is going to be the difference that we were hoping for last Sunday.
That's a great point. Is that a fact? I'm going to double check this, but you said Ritter's only got 2 starts away from home.
I think right. He had two last year, and he's played 2 at home. Man, because of where I live, I had to watch the Packers Falcons. It was like watching paint dry with those 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I think it can be too big for him. I'm hoping, right? I mean, anyways, that's what I got. Thanks, guys.
I appreciate it.
I don't think Ritter's the next coming of some great quarterback. I think maybe he's average at best, and he's so young in his career. I agree. Maybe he can get rattled. It was freaking loud at Ford Field, and I think there were 3 penalties that were attributed to it. It's a far cry from the 9 that the Lions were able to get in the Bears years ago. But Geno Smith had been in that atmosphere a year ago. So used to it, I guess. Plus, he does play in Seattle.
So
Desmond
last
Ritter's
year,
gonna be different.
I got Desmond Ritter's stats home and road last year. At home, he completed 67.9% of his passes, 2 touchdowns, no picks. On the road, he completed 59.3% of his passes, no touchdowns, no picks. Home, he was sacked 3 times. Road, he was sacked 6 times. His quarterback rating at home, 99.8. Road, 73.8.
Big difference.
It's a great point. But this has to be the maelstrom of chaos that we had last week. Copy, paste. Do it again.
Love that.
Bring it on.
The maelstrom of chaos. I love it. Now, the difference is last year they didn't have Bijan Robinson. But they did have Tyler Algier, who had a lot of yards last year. He was a pretty good running back for him. Now they've got, a duo here, but clearly Robinson is the lead dog of that group. The Lions have to stop him. If they stop him first and foremost, I think the other stuff will fall into place. I think you want Ritter throwing the football.
Carson Anderson, 97.1.
Well, if you're going to get excited about what's going on this weekend, and why wouldn't you? You got home games going on Saturday and Sunday. There's tailgates to be had. Bring with you something special. How about a bottle of Flying Ace Spirits bourbon? It's a small batch American-made bourbon. It's blended in Holland, Michigan, and it's part of that Coppercraft family. So you know that it's high quality indeed. It's a blend of aged whiskeys and has notes of caramel, toasted rye, vanilla, and ripe stone fruit. What I love about it is its versatility. You can have shots with your friends to kick off the tailgate. You can just sip it if you want. You can have it on the rocks. You can mix it up with some ginger ale or maybe a cola, however you want. No one's going to look at you side-eye. They got no reason to. And only $30 a bottle, it's not going to bust your budget. And it's not out of line to drink it straight just like you would the higher-end bourbons because it tastes great. It's the perfect everyday drinker that's as smooth as it is unpretentious. There's no gimmicks about Flying Ace Spirits bourbon. It's just great, approachable American whiskey for the maverick at heart. Follow at Flying Ace Spirits on Instagram. That way you can stay up to date on all of their upcoming releases. And as always, please drink responsibly.
I've said for like the last half a decade, attrition's such a big part of this game. And you've got to have as much depth as possible. We believed in the depth prior to the year. So the question becomes, do you still believe in the depth?
Here's the thing about Gibbs is he needs to touch the ball more. We need to get more production out of him. He's a first-round pick, number 12 overall. And right now, he's got 23 touches. That in 2 games.
Didn't Bijan have around 23 just on this Sunday?
Right. And whether it's, and what Jahmyr Gibbs brings to this offense is the opportunity to be very creative. And that's where TJ and I talked about it yesterday on the podcast. Where's the creativity been in this offense? Last year with Amon-Ra St. Brown, we saw him line up in the backfield. We saw him line up everywhere.
Mike, you there?
And we saw one play on a 4th down conversion.
Big Mike.
Mike?
No good.
248-539-9797. David is next. Hi, David.
Hello, Doug and Gator. How you guys doing?
All right, David, how are you today?
I'm pretty good.
Good.
Let me discuss Dan Campbell.
Okay.
4th and 2 in the second quarter at the 35. He decides to go for it.
Yeah. 45.
4th down.
David?
3 points you could have had, and you would have won the game when it went into overtime. Simple as that. This guy is the worst coach, and I'd be glad when they fire him. He's going to get fired. In the next 2 games, you're going to lose against Atlanta, and you're going to lose against Green Bay, and you're going to be in the hole. And with 13 games to go, you know these fans are going to say, "Oh, we can turn this around. We can turn this around. We have 13 more games." No, there's not going to be any turnaround. It's a losing team. You got an incompetent coach. Should have hired Sean Payton to be the coach. That's why I
do
want
like
to
Sean
be the
Payton.
coach.
Thank you, David. I don't think it's quite as doom and gloom as you feel. But hey, man, I mean, look, they play the games for a reason, and they've got themselves in a position where they feel like they have a ton of potential. They were going to lose some games. They weren't going to go undefeated. And then when they lose, we shouldn't act like we're shocked, you know? So we'll see. See how it plays itself out. I still think they win the division. I'm standing by it. Flag is planet.
Well, I think there'll be some real issues if they lose the next 2 games, but hopefully that doesn't happen.
Yep.
Be 2-1 going into Green Bay. Be awesome. The problem is that they've got 2 games in 7 days.
Yeah. And which
you got the
teams,
short week to prepare.
Teams have to go through that. Like just about everybody goes through that.
I should say, when I say 7 days, is that 7 days from now? They have 2 games in 4 days.
Yeah, but it's the everybody goes through it. It's just when you're banged up, it's even tougher to go through that. From an unnamed text, I'm sorry, this is from Paul and Shelby. My bad. We're not losing this game against Atlanta. It may not be pretty, but we aren't losing this game against Atlanta. Bold ass prediction. Injury bug hit us early last year, too. That's from Todd in Hazel Park. What happens after the Lions lose this Sunday? People are going to lose their minds. LOL. It's not LOL. It's not funny. Did Brad Holmes jump the gun by drafting a running back and tight end when he could have continued building up the defense? Now I am thinking so. That's from Ed and Warren. I mean, I didn't feel that way after week 1. One of the most impactful players that they drafted is a safety who made a huge play in week 1. I mean, so ask yourself after week 1, did you think he did it all right? Because that wouldn't be correct either. So after week 2, thinking he did it all wrong, also, we have 2 games that tell us 2 different things about the Lions. So you compartmentalize them and you look at the entire picture. And after week 1, any proclamations of Super Bowl and Brad Holmes Executive of the Year and Dan Campbell Coach of the Year was way premature. And now we've had fire Brad Holmes or fire Dan Campbell, or he's going to get fired, and they blew it with the draft with the running back and tight end. These are over-exaggerations the other direction after week 2. Nick writes in and actually asks a good question. What's going on with Marvin Jones Jr.? They paid him a decent amount, and he's been non-existent.
He really has been. I mean, he had a rough game, the first game against Kansas City, but I had to look at the stats and see how much he was targeted in game 2, but it felt like he was completely non-existent.
Through 2 games, he's got 6 targets, 2 receptions.
And against Seattle,
he didn't do anything.
No, he wasn't even targeted against Seattle.
Antoine Green caught a pass, though. So I wonder if there were. I mentioned maybe, would you guys be opposed to Marvin Jones losing some snaps to like someone like Antoine Green? And Antoine Green got a catch. He got out in the field because he didn't play week 1 essentially.
Yeah, he also may have gotten concussed.
Yeah, but he's back at practice. I think he's an FP.
I hope he's an FP.
Let's go to
FP.
Let's go to Mike. You're next. What's up, Mike?
Morning.
Hey, well, somewhere.
Hey, good show, by the way.
Thank you.
I just wanted to throw out a new acronym for you guys since all the calls I'm hearing. Okay. SOF. Same old fans.
Well, they're not all. I don't think we've had Really, if we had anybody that said SOL, we've had people who've complained about the game.
SOL. We had that call today.
But we haven't had
And
too
earlier
many
this
of
week, we did for sure.
Sure, you did. Yeah, and I just can't. It's 2 games.
It's a small.
What was their
it's a
record
small
at the
group.
last for 7 games of last year? What was their record compared to now? You know what I mean?
Well, they were, they were obviously started off 1-6, and that's the problem. You don't want to see them start off 1-4 or 1-5. You don't want to, because that's too hard to. Going 8-2 is not normal. An 8-2 stretch is so out of the ordinary, and for the Lions to have done it last year is kind of crazy. And then if they get in a hole again and have to dig themselves out by going 8-2 again, odds are against you. You got to win games now.
I agree with you, but I'm listening and I'm hearing SOL and I'm saying okay, SOF. So that's my thoughts on it. And also, if the defense shows up like they did in the Seattle game, I'd have Aaron Glenn on the carpet and ask him what the hell is going on.
Well, I think that there's Dan Campbell's shown that if a change is necessary midseason, he'll make it.
Well, they stopped the run against Seattle.
Yeah,
that was a positive.
I'm not giving up on AG just yet. Let's go to Andy next year on 97 a Ticket. Hi, Andy.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Okay.
All right.
Hey, just good. Just a question on change to college, if we can, for a second. With the Big Ten expanding teams, is there talk about getting rid of some of the non-conference games and getting into the conference earlier?
So there's a few things here, and Andy, yeah, it's a good question. I hope so. I mean, if you're going to add these good teams to the conference, interesting games, and damn it, let's play them. I think the fear is if the SEC continues to play 8 conference games, that you're going to put yourself behind the 8 ball because you're going to beat each other up in the Big Ten while they're feasting on UT Chattanooga down there in the Citadel, but and bolstering their record. So I hope that there is a push for everybody to play more conference games. Here's the other thing that's going to do. The more conference games you play, guess who has less chance to schedule people? Notre Dame.
Right. Well, the other side of it also is that college football is so big on rivalry games, and the only way to build rivalry games is to actually play them. Could you imagine if Michigan played USC yearly?
It's probably not going to happen yearly, given that the way that this thing is going to get set up. You're probably only going to be able to protect 1 and maybe 2 games.
How many times has Georgia played Alabama in the regular season?
They don't play them every year.
It feels like it's been a minute since they played in the regular season.
Yeah,
but that's the thing.
Right. Yeah. But I don't know. There's just, rivalry games are such a big component of
you're right.
the fan base.
I think we all agree. We'd love I'd love to see a 10 conference game schedule. Love to see that. And then you only have 2 non-conference games you can schedule. And I'd love to see a couple of big games scheduled there, but it's not going to happen. At least you're not going to schedule, we're going to take on Notre Dame and Texas A&M, and then we're going to go into our 10-game conference schedule. You're not going to see stuff like that. But can you see one big game in the non-conference schedule and then one directional game against the Eastern, Central, Western type or a MAC school and then get into a 10-game schedule? I hope so. I mean, do you think they're going to go to a 10-game schedule?
I can't imagine that the people that are running college football, Fox and ESPN, and CBS and NBC aren't going to push for that because that's just more good games and the higher TV ratings. And as far as, we are entering, one thing I hate about all of this and an expanded playoffs is we are watering down the regular season. And there is going to be 2 and 3, maybe even a 4-loss team that makes the postseason. And I think it's the best regular season in all sports. Part of it is that we have a smaller playoff field. And I was okay with expanding from 4. I think going to 12 is really pushing the limit of watering down the best regular season in all sports. To answer a question real quick, by the way, Georgia and Alabama have played 6 times in the regular season since 2000. And that's through a couple of different scheduling formats.
So it's like every 3 or 4 years.
Yep.
Okay.
And and the reason you brought them up is because those are 2 teams, powerhouse teams, on the opposite sides of their conference. One's in the East, one's in the West.
Well, I wonder if we get to a point where now, mean, we are, because Power 5 is now going to be Power 4 because there's no Pac-12. Does that make more sense to have the 12 teams in the playoff?
I mean, I guess.
But they all have to be a level playing field. Like you said, if the SEC can't go with 8 conference games.
And feast on cupcakes.
Yeah, to bolster their record.
Well, we're all, I think everybody here is in favor of better schedules and more interesting games for everybody. Yeah. I always thought you should have a requirement, like to make the playoff, you have to go on the road. You have to play a road non-conference game. Or you have a limited number of games against non-Power 5 teams, you're ineligible for the playoffs. And that will force schools to schedule them.
Do we know how the SEC is going to handle in terms of divisions, bringing in Texas and Oklahoma?
I don't think that's been determined yet.
So they could have some realignment in what they do.
It's a lot of heavy. I mean, it would make
heavy West.
The West to be the West would be the inverse of the Big Ten West. That's how strong it would be. Think about that. All right, we ran out of time for the big old tub of pretzels. We'll do that next hour here on 97.1.
Version to Amon-Ra St. Brown. One play that we look at and we say, okay, that's creative. We saw the flea flicker. That was creative. It created a touchdown.
He had one other play because I remember saying a Gator. I don't remember.
But with Jahmyr Gibbs, I would
play
expect to see more creativity with how you use him.
I'd prefer to not be here right now. Welcome in. People, I thought we were done with it. I thought we were done with having to lower our expectations, but that's where I'm at. It's a beautiful day here in Detroit. It's a beautiful life. But I have to tell you, I have to lower my expectations for this team because they're not ready for it. They're not ready to deliver on what I thought they were ready to deliver on. Because yesterday was unforgivable. That was as rat-ass, sloppy, nonsense a performance as you're going to see. 10 days rest, coming home, a team coming to town who has no playmakers up front and has street free agents at both tackle spots. You hit the quarterback one time. This team went out and made mistakes that they just don't make. And whether it's, I got a real problem with one of the fourth downs, but that's fine. The fumble to come out of the half, to flip the game on its ear. This defense on third down, able to do nothing. Nothing. And Rico's BFF, Geno Smith, beats us again.
Third car, Scott Anderson, 97.1 The Ticket. Open lines, 248-539-9797. Let's get back to your open line calls. We go to Eric. You're next. What's up, Eric?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Say, the more I look at this game in the rearview mirror, it's just bad coaching on his part. It's a coach issue. We could have won that game. Bill Belichick would have never made a call like that in the final moments. And I know everybody loves him, and I love him. I think he's a great guy, but he's costing us games. And
well, hold on.
I mean, games are so precious in the NFL.
Did he win them the first game?
Yes.
Okay. All right, fair. If you're going to give him credit for the week 1 win, because he kind of had the same approach super aggressive in week 1, went for it inside his own side of the field. Different circumstances. It was a fake punt. And the game, they didn't have a lead in the fourth quarter. But if you're going to give him credit for winning game 1, then I guess it's fair to say he lost game 2 because it's just who he is.
Yeah. It's definitely who he is. But are we going to win more games by playing like that or lose more games?
It's a valid
coaching issue. Pardon me?
It's a valid question. I mean, I guess time, I hate to, it feels like a cop-out answer, but we'll know over the course of time. I mean, it's a long view approach. Does he gear it down? I thought he would when he had a better football team, but that does not appear to be the case at all.
I think most people have an issue with what happened when you went for it 4th and 2 or whatever from the 45-yard line. I think most people have an issue with that. But I think also maybe it's just the majority of people understand that's who he is.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to take the good and you got to take the bad, or you can just say it's not good enough. That's fine. And maybe he doesn't do it again. But each move that he makes on 4th down is predicated on circumstances that are leading up to that. If he thought that we can stomp this out and get the lead here, I don't need to. I don't want to give the ball back to Seattle. I know what they're capable of. I don't like where our defense is at. I like where our offense is at. Let's pick up this 1st down and really put it to them. Okay, I mean it's a calculated risk, and it didn't work out. And it didn't work out because they ended up losing the game in overtime. When you get the ball back and you have a chance on the last drive of the game to erase the memories of what happened there when you didn't punt, and you fall short, that really hurts and it compounds things, particularly when you don't win the coin toss going into overtime, and his comments about, playing it like it was going into a half of football, it all starts to rub everybody the wrong way. Colton Pouncey from The Athletic is on his Twitter account has added some video play. It was really interesting on that last drive where the Lions had the ball at the 23-yard line and Jared Goff throws a pass incomplete to Amon St. Brown on a 2nd and 6 play. So it would have been a 1st down near the Seattle 17 with about 22 seconds to go and 2 timeouts. Completion probably opens up the playbook for end zone shots at the end there. And he's right. But the play gets blown up by a defensive lineman who just gets past, I think it's Glasgow, the right guard, and just crushes Goff as he's throwing the football. It's unfortunate because we all might have a completely different thought if this play hadn't happened, but that's football. Football is, there are so many plays that if it goes your way, it changes everything. It changes the landscape of everything. And had they gotten the 1st down on the 4th and 2 or 4th and 3 play, people would have been like, it's a gamble, but that's how he is, and it worked out. But it didn't work out, and now people can be critical of it.
Yeah, the Campbell referenced that too on his appearance on the show earlier this week. All right, big old tub of pretzels. Are we ready? Haven't done this in a while. Let's do it. These are random questions that get sent to us by listeners. And Kang and Evan come up with them every once in a while. If you want to send a question in for the big old tub of pretzels, text right now to Kang at 248-539-9797. A lot of them are life questions.
Or
Kang.
tweet me at Kang Sports. Either way.
Good. Yep.
All right.
KHANGSPORTS. Kang Sports.
I feel like it's been a while since we've done this.
It has.
Yeah, I think it has.
All right, here we go. How would you pose for a mugshot if you were just booked Tough, sad, smile.
It's a great question. I think it depends on what you're being booked for, right? If you're booked for drunk driving, I'm going to have a very disappointed look on my face, disappointed myself that you put yourself in that position.
Because this is going viral, man.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think of circumstances where I'd be smiling.
Maybe you got in a fight. They had to book you guys both. How would you be posing then?
Okay. Let's start with this.
Did I win the fight?
One of my goals in life is to make this simply a hypothetical. From
100%.
Birth to death.
100%.
100% from birth to death.
I don't ever want to have to find
complete and total
out.
hypothetical.
You guys have never thought about this, though?
No. And now that I have thought about it, I have two thoughts. I would show no emotion, and I would not sell T-shirts with my picture on them.
I would have to think in my youth when I did some things that I would never do again that would have gotten me in trouble that involved mailboxes. I probably would have had a smirk on my face.
I think about this question all the time. Not that I'm doing stuff that would get arrested, but just, I
you
don't know if this
sure?
is a guy thing. Like, well, how would I pose if I got arrested?
Like if I got in a fight and beat the hell out of somebody because they beat the hell out of a woman or something like that, and it was justified,
Gator, if I'm a hero.
Yeah, hey, listen, man, if I was saving a bunch of babies, all right, and then all of a sudden...
This is what you want. It's put yourself in the circumstances. Otherwise, it's like 90%. It's like you did something that you absolutely deserve to be locked up and booked for. I'm going to be disappointed. I don't even want to look at the camera, but you have to. It's a mugshot.
What if it's someone parking in a spot they shouldn't be parking in?
Right.
And then
you get in a fight over that.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't get in a fight over that.
What if he pushed you first?
Kang, I live my life like Doug does.
Walk away.
I never, ever want to be in this situation.
Never worth it.
Never worth it.
Never worth it.
I've managed to live my life this far without, and there have been some close scrapes. I can think of the one in college where
you clenched a fist. Maybe is that what you did? Or
no, I'm thinking about in college. I've told the story before where there was a situation in an alley where you had to relieve yourself, and then we started walking away, and then we started running on Grand River in East Lansing, and realized we were being chased by police officers. That one may have been a smile on my face if I had been booked.
All right, next question.
It's a tough question.
Next question. Oh, I just put this one in because this has been going around. How often do you think about the Roman Empire? This is another guy question. I mean, it's like only girls don't sit around thinking about the Roman Empire on their own. Guys do, right?
I'll answer first.
All right,
I'll
how
give Doug
often?
some time here because you never think about it until you're watching like Gladiator. When Gladiator comes up and you're flipping through channels and here's Russell Crowe, I'm going to watch it, and then you start thinking about what was it like during this time?
Yes.
Man? It's crazy. People filling the Coliseum, they're watching
Gator.
people fight to the death.
Game of Thrones, I start kind of thinking
Right,
about
yeah.
like how would I?
Could I handle a sword?
Yep, exactly. I mean, you step on someone's sandal. I mean, just you break out your
Right,
swords and someone dies.
Whoa. Would I have more appreciation for a Senate? I don't.
Right. Senator.
Hey, grapes really are pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know. But every time one of those movies comes up, I do think about it.
I never think about the Roman
Because
Empire.
Doug doesn't watch movies.
I literally
you
just
never?
I Google searched Roman Empire movies. I've seen one. One. Yep. And the one I've seen is going to make you laugh.
It is good. History of the World?
Nope.
Oh,
Life of Brian.
there it is. Monty Python.
I'd never think of the Roman Empire.
You never think about walking around in a toga and just how
Hey, have
everyday
you ever
life
gone to
would
a
be?
toga party before? And
I've never been to a toga party.
wow,
I haven't lived, huh?
I guess not. King, you ever been to a toga party?
I actually don't think I have either.
Wow, been a couple.
Gator apparently Gatorhead.
Oh,
Been a
geez.
while, but I went to it.
Okay, Senator.
All right, there it is. Big old tub of pretzels. Back to your phone calls.
Great question.
Next, 97.1 The Ticket.